sometimes you just gotta like empty them out. If your balls are full, you know.
Good heavens, would you look at the time? I've got to get to practice. I'm just going to leave the recording track running. You can deal with that later.
I could do the podcast where it's like I talk and then I'm talking to Carl and it's just a back and forth. Carl, what did you do? Did you do Desert Treasure? Yeah, it took me like 16 hours, but Jimmy came over and he helped me with the Leviathan. Did you do the Whisper by yourself? Yeah, that one was probably the easiest. Okay.
Well, folks, it's been fun. This is going to be the last episode ever of Xpwaste before it even gets started. So we'll see you guys later.
Anyway, let's do it.
Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where we are about to spoil the heck out of Desert Treasure 2. So if you haven't played it, go do that, and then come back to this. Hi, I'm Oxie.
And I'm Michael. If this is your first time tuning into Xpwaste, welcome. We are a Old School RuneScape podcast that will talk probably 96% about Old School RuneScape and a little bit of RuneScape 3 thrown in. And then maybe that like 1% that talks about how cool my water bottle is. See, I did it. We talked about it. We're done. That was it. If you're not new around here, welcome back. It's a great week to play Old School RuneScape. Oxie, how are ya?
Boy, howdy it is, Michael. Let me tell you, it's been a great week to play Old School. I'm pretty good. I am pretty good.
It's good to hear because you weren't good for a while. You were like burnt to a crisp, and now you're not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some things that aren't great, right? I was just about to say, like my best friend did move, so I helped move my best friend out of town. But she doesn't live horribly far away, so just more tedious to get the last stuff out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Fencing is going fine, but I'm not able to go today because we are doing a little bit of a different recording thing, which we'll get into here soon enough. And then OSRS, man, it's been an experience. So I keep forgetting that we actually did an episode last week. I don't know why, but I keep forgetting that we did. Because I feel like this is the first time we've done an episode in a long time, but I know it's not.
Were you tired?
Apparently, last Sunday morning, apparently I was tired for like the hour and a half recording that we did.
It was a short one. Yeah, it was a short one.
It was really short. Yeah. So in between last Sunday and this Monday afternoon, evening, I got 99 prayer, finally finished it out, just sort of pushed through. For the last level, I was going to do Ensouled Heads. I'm like, it's going to be another 4 hours. And then, of course, I was in VC with like Jesse and Immortal and Fear, who were like, just go buy Dragon Bones. I'm like, well, when you put it like that, it was like 10 mil for a million XP, and I just banged out less than 1,000 superior Dragon Bones. Then we had a 99 party at the Chaos Altar, where everyone brought rag PK gear, and actually killed someone.
Oh.
I brought a 10 mil risk, and some dude showed up, and people just absolutely mollywopped him. Like this poor guy, he was like a level 86. I don't know if he was a pure or what.
Yeah.
But the boys just piled him in multi. It was fantastic. It was great.
That's hilarious.
But
did you
but yeah.
Did you end up burying the bones of your friends like you said you were going to do to get the 99?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yes. So I brought an entire anti-PK inventory, 10 mil cash, and then my noted bones from my friends. But because I brought a full PK inventory of like brews, anglerfish, switches, anti-venoms, anti-fires, I had to like drop my food at the guy and make like 4 trips to run back and forth. And people were just getting attacked as soon as they walked in. like bone runners who just had nothing to do with what was happening they're getting DDS, they were getting RCB, like they truly were just getting ragged at my 99 party. And then I got 99 prayer, then everyone just started attacking each other, and I brought Dragon Claws as my +1 item. Got to claw spec people out, and then it was a good time. It was a good time getting 99 prayer, and then the next day DT2 came out.
Oh, nice.
And this is going to come as a shock to you, Michael. I've been playing the shit out of DT2 content.
Yeah, you have.
Yep, we woke up at 5 a.m., just like we do for a lot of good major updates. Took a shower, had some breakfast, hopped right on the PC at like 6 a.m., and we just started rolling with it. It was fantastic. It feels good to wake up that early to play RuneScape. Get me up at 7:30 for work? No thanks.
Screw you,
go
work.
Back to bed. But like, I think I was riding like 4.5 hours of sleep that night. Didn't matter. I was like spry out of bed. We were having a great time, and it was a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll talk about it here more. Maybe we'll touch on DT2 a bit. Who knows?
Maybe.
But and then like after that, it was really good because the quest was awesome. But I was just like so busy doing stuff. Like I said, I helped move my friend out. That took a couple of days. I had practice. It really wasn't until yesterday that I got to spend a lot of time doing like bosses. And even then, it was just like I haven't been able to sit and play for like 14 hours and do just the bosses yet. But it's been fun. So how about you, Michael? How are you?
I'm pretty decent. So I guess we'll start on Wednesday because that's kind of where like this whole week kind of started. I guess no. So since the last recording, I've done a lot of nothing in RuneScape and a lot of something, but a lot of nothing at the same time. So Iron Man gains are going strong. I'm 85 mining. So now at Motherlode Mine, I'll be getting those sweet, juicy runite ores in the sack. And it's going to up the XP per hour a little bit. I'm still using a rune pick because I have not gone to Volcanic Mine just yet. It's on the horizons. I'm going to post up in team search and like rally the boys so we can all go to Volcanic Mine. But I'm still using rune pick, 85 mining. I got it last night, so I'm still like 320k away from 86. But I need to spend like probably another 14 or 15 hours power mining iron so that I can get the superior mining gloves. And I don't know exactly what like that XP is going to look like. I probably could do the math because I think there's like pretty much a set like XP per hour that you can get mining iron, but I'm hoping that'll probably get me at least maybe 86 or 87 if I do that. And then by the time I have 92 or 90, between 90 and 92, I'm hoping to have a dragon pick by then so that I can use the dragon pick. Oh my god, dragon. I can use the dragon pick spec. Words are hard, man. I can use that spec to get to 92 to mine amethyst. So the superior mining gloves will help. If you don't know, superior mining gloves cost a lot of unidentified minerals. I think it's 60 for the first, 120 for the second, and then another 120 or something like that. It's bonkers how much they cost. But essentially, once you have them fully upgraded, it allows you to like save a depletion cycle essentially from ores. So essentially, if you're mining amethyst, there's a chance that you can get more than one amethyst per vein. Without the gloves, it's guaranteed one amethyst per vein that you mine. So you're hopping around a lot. But the gloves just make it a little bit better. So that's the plan for that on the groupie. 85 mining currently. I am in a weird spot with my group Iron Man right now because having done Desert Treasure 2, I now know that there is a lot more work that I have to do in order to get the quest cape on this account. A lot of work. I'm talking massive gear upgrades. Like a Fang for one. So like there's going to be a lot of Tombs of Amasket. A Bofa, hopefully. That would be kind of nice. Maybe a blowpipe at the very least. Because I don't want to go in there with a rune crossbow. Because those bosses were not easy. Dragon Sim would be hard. That's why I said Fang. A Fang seems more obtainable than a whip at this point. Maybe if I just spend the next like 5 months, not 5 months, but like it's another couple hundred hours to get only Slayer.
It's a lot of Slayer, yeah. And it is unfortunate because I think with an RCB, you'd probably be okay. Blowpipe would help for the last section for healing, but like RCB would probably be fine. Dragon Scimitar Vard.
I mean, it's worth a try to do it, but like it's not just the main bosses. Like you have to you kill a lot of stuff in that quest. And like I know we're getting into it, but I won't go into it too much right now, but like I struggled a bit even on my maxed main account with a Fang and max
say
gear.
we start getting into it with or even I don't know you wait or what, but
well, I was gonna go into a little monologue about Wednesday. So you were talking about Wednesday, waking up, stretching, drinking your coffee, playing RuneScape all day. I was stuck at work. It was great.
I mean, I ended up at work.
Well, here's the thing.
I woke up at 5 and left for work at like 7:59.
Well, it's like that's still 3 hours that you had to. I had to wake up with a child at 6 o'clock. I had to work from 7 until 1 p.m. And then from 1 p.m. until 8 p.m., I was traveling. This last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was out of town for a work event. And we, like my whole team, we all flew to Denver and just had, like we did workshops, presentations. We hung out as a team because we're all work from home. And so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pretty much the entire day, sun up to sundown, I was doing something. And so I played RuneScape for like maybe 5 minutes on my iPad and was like, yeah, I'm ready for bed. So, and when I did that, I was just mining. So it wasn't even like I was able to do the quest. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was out of town. I got home. Oh my, the flight there, we were flying into a storm essentially in Denver. It was the worst turbulence I've ever experienced in my whole life. I kid you not, and I don't want to sound morbid, but I was planning on what I was going to do as I was falling out of the plane because I thought we were going to crash. It was so bad. I've never experienced turbulence like that. The lady next to me was like holding the armrest and just like deep breathing. Like she was squeezing the armrest, not white knuckling them. So we they wouldn't let us land in Denver. And so we were circling in the air for an hour. So the flight got delayed.
In a storm?
Yes. Well, that's probably why the turbulence was so bad. So they diverted us from Denver Airport over to Colorado Springs. We landed in Colorado Springs, sat in the plane for another hour, and then they're like, we can finally fly to Denver. So they got us back up in the air, flew to Denver. By that point, we were like 4 hours past when we were supposed to land. It was a mess. But from that point on, it was a great trip because I pretty much ate my way through Denver. I had some of the best food that I've had in a long time, and I didn't have to pay for a single penny of it. Thanks, work. I kid you not, they spent like thousands of dollars on every meal. It was insane. There was 15 or 16 of us, the whole team, and like there was no limit. Like I got a $50 steak on Thursday night. It is incredible.
If you're on the boss's dime, damn right you're getting a $50 steak. Just order a $200 shot of whiskey just for laughs.
So once I got home, we flew back in. I got home late on Friday night. Got home at 12:30. Went to bed immediately, but then couldn't really sleep in. So I woke up at 8:30. Not a lot of sleep. And then Saturday started what I like to call the nonstop Desert Treasure Marathon. So now we can
the
get
nonstop
into it.
Desert Treasure Marathon that was 100% caused by Oxie.
Yes.
It is 100% my fault. What you are about to hear from Michael is 1,000,000% my fault.
Yeah, so I wasn't planning to do Desert Treasure. We had a completely different topic planned for this week.
And it was a good one too.
You'll probably hear it in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it because it's too good not to do. But
agreed. But I wasn't planning on doing it this weekend, or even, I mean, yes, I was planning on doing it, but I wasn't planning to go hard like I did. I think I calculated it, and total hours, it was like 15 or 16 hours that I was sitting at the computer doing Desert Treasure. But like I wasn't doing it the entire time. On Saturday night, I actually got Nerdlog doing it, and we were in another Discord, and we were doing a crossword puzzle, and at the end of the crossword puzzle, it took everybody that was collectively doing it 54 minutes, and so I'm like, I know I wasn't doing Desert Treasure the entire time because I was helping with that crossword. So then like there's an hour probably that I wasn't really playing or doing the quest. So total time was like 16 hours. I probably was doing the quest 10 of those hours, like hardcore. It's a long ass quest.
Yeah.
They did so much.
With no quest helper reading dialogue.
I had the wiki pulled up, and I was doing kind of a hybrid method of like, I would just read a little bit and then try and brute force it as much as I could up until Sunday. So on Saturday, it was all like, I'm going to figure this out. But by the time I got to Sunday and Sunday evening, I was over it, and I was just reading the wiki, skipping through dialogue as much as I could. Still reading it. I was just skimming it, but like, it's kind of over it. But yeah, I that's a long quest. And you did it I don't know. We haven't talked about it, but like, did you use the wiki at all?
I did not. So I woke up Wednesday morning, got in VC at like 6:04. So I was like a couple minutes behind the other people I was in VC with. Eventually, we kind of decide after like the first boss, and we go to the golem or whatever. We're like typing names and shit in, just like guessing for lore because we don't know what we're actually supposed to be asking. We're like, let's try this, let's try that. So we're asking like Zamorak, Seren, Saradome, and Guthix. Some answers are giving us full readouts. Some answers are saying like, you don't have access.
You
don't have access to this. Others were like, we don't have any info on it. So that was fun. And then afterwards, we're like, let's go to Lasser. Let's go to Lassar first. Let's get that done. Because that's the first place we went to Camdazal. The moment we all entered that Undercity for the first time, we're like, holy shit.
Wait, that's the first one you did?
Look at this.
That
was if we all did Lassar first.
That's fun.
And we're like, holy shit, this is crazy. And no one knew. I think we like discovered the shadow portals by accident. Like, what the fuck? And we were running around trying to get through like the tentacles, and we found the keys and shit. And that one part that you said was super trippy, where you go downstairs and all the different versions of you pop up, and you're talking to yourself. That was a super cool experience. Eventually, we all caught up to each other. I was the first one to make it to Whisperer, and I was the first one to die to Whisperer. I was also the first one to test out whether or not being in the Shadow Realm hurt you with the sanity thing. And we're like, what happens if your sanity drops to 0? I'm like, let's find out, boys. It was like 5, 10, 20, 40. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a long walk
immediately
back.
killed. Yeah, it really was. Because it was like Lassar teleport tabs or Lassar. I don't know if it's Lasser or I think Lassar is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure.
I was using a mind alter teleport. Those were a little bit closer.
Well, that was the mind alter teleport was closer because on Friday they added 2 shortcuts.
Oh, they
added
did?
a shortcut off of Ice Mountain, and they cut part of the landscape from the mind alter.
I didn't know that.
So
that's cool.
Because on the day of the mind alter, you still had to run all the way down and come all the way back up Ice Mountain.
That makes sense.
And then for Lassar, you had to run all the way down the mountain and all the way across, or you did Monastery.
Damn.
You ran all the way over there too.
Damn.
So like that part was just, it was so fun trying to brute force the boss. So we all got the Whisperer done together, and by the time we finished with the Whisperer, it was time for me to go to work. It took us a good 2 hours to get through Lasar. I mean, and like the beginning stuff too, but like it really wasn't, like the first quest boss is like use a blowpipe and you'll be fine or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it really wasn't a hard fight.
For the Whisper?
No, the Whisperer was not an easy fight. The Whisperer, like how we didn't lose sanity and die because we didn't. All right, so we fought the Whisperer for the first time. We didn't know you had to click on the Shadow Stone.
Oh.
We didn't even pay attention to it. We just thought you needed to have it in your inventory to access the boss. So when the leeches, the little like orb things pop up, we were trying to do like TOA and run over every single one of them to see. So we're taking like 19s. Some of them were not taking damage. Other ones were not. When the ghosts came out, we're like, I guess this is the eat up phase because we're going to take damage no matter what. We all got lucky with the Zebek roar. Because if you get the Zebek roar wrong and you stand behind one pillar that has more health, you can make it so that you don't have a pillar at the very end and you take that 45 with sanity damage.
Yeah.
All of us got lucky.
Oh.
All of us had
Just
3 pillars to stand behind.
Right one.
We all got lucky. And we're like, okay, cool. This is Zebek. That's not too bad. And then I think I was the first one to kill the boss, and then the screen turned black, and we were in the Shadow Realm. We're like, oh, you got to be kidding me. There's another phase afterwards. And I think I died with 20 HP left, and then I got it on the next attempt. So it took me 3 tries to get the Whisperer done. I did Duke at work.
What? Yeah, Duke's easy, though. I don't know much about the, like, I wouldn't say the puzzle with the it's like an escape room, but like the fight, it's fairly easy. The Duke fight.
I didn't have too much of a problem with the puzzle. This quest was frightening. I could talk about my experience with these puzzles, and I probably will for a long time. But I just want to put that out there. Did you feel at all like holy at any point during doing any of these puzzles or doing any part of this quest? Like this sense of like eerie fear, dread kind of thing?
No. I should make a correction because I just said that the Duke puzzles were easy. I did use the wiki for that one. So Tiki, thanks. I can't imagine like the word puzzles, like figuring out how to decipher to get the codes for all the chests. That was probably very difficult.
Funny enough, the only reason why I managed to make it through that puzzle without slamming my head against a wall is because in a different Discord that I'm in with people who are like no association with TNL, just like a smaller group of buddies who all play RuneScape, they put the combinations, because they all did Gorok first. They put the combinations, just the screenshots of what they should be in there. And I'm like, I already know myself. Like, I don't want to use a wiki. I don't want to use a guide. But I know for a fact I am not good enough at puzzles. There's like a Braille section for what, like, I'm not good enough at puzzles to decipher fucking Braille. So I used those, and that's how I was able to get through that fight. But like, I didn't know any of the pathing. I didn't know any of the mechanics of the boss. When that damn Majorat popped up, like it was Resident Evil, Mr. X, or God, what's the tall lady's name? The hot one, Lady Dimitrescu, chasing you around.
Why did I think of Veronica? No,
I don't know. Lady Dimitrescu chasing you around in Resident Evil. That was a good, like, holy shit. This is like, because now after every door you open, like, is he gonna spawn? Like, it was super cool. There's a lot of fun little Easter eggs in there. The Gorok prison part was good. It was a lot of fun. The Duke fight, it opened the eye, and I thought, oh, dude, it's vulnerable. I'm gonna smack the eye. Took a 77 to the face. Found out that you're not supposed to do that. So
that's funny. You would think, though, I don't like he opens his eye and like an eye should be. You're not wrong. Like,
I thought the same
you
thing.
Should be right
I'm
for
about
that.
to blind him. Bam! Immediately dead. Immediately dead. It was tough.
So funny. Yeah, I watched. I had the luxury for most of the bosses to kind of peek in on people killing them, like in Discord as I was doing the quest. So for some of the mechanics, I had a little bit of a everything but the Leviathan. I had a little bit of a pre-knowledge, I guess you would say. I wanted to say I had a show, but that sounds weird. Yeah, I kind of knew what I was getting into with most of them. I found that Vardorvis was probably my favorite. And if I get back on the main, Vardorvis and Duke. I didn't like the Whisper fight. It just, a lot was going on with the Oxie literally had to basically brute force me to do it.
I was walking Michael through Whisper tick by tick, and at the very end of the fight, he went like he didn't breathe the entire time.
Like that was probably my least favorite. And what's so funny is like I feel like that's the one that you've been grinding the most post quest.
Oh my God, I love it.
Maybe I'll learn to love
my favorite.
But I feel like Vardorvis and Duke are going to be the ones that I consistently can do. Leviathan is not hard. It's just there's a lot of mechanics, and it's a very fast fight. And then Whisper, I think I just need to not do it at midnight when I'm trying to go to bed. And I'll appreciate it more.
He did. I gave Michael all my gear. I bought an Ancestral Top, by the way. That's another thing I did this past week. I gave Michael all my stuff, and I'm like, here, use this. Don't use ARMs. You'll be fine. And then he's like, Oxie, come take your stuff. I'm going to bed. I said, no, you're not. Get back in there. He was ready to be done. But Kami in the recording booth chat brings up a brilliant point. He says, as far as feelings go, the Gorok prison is the first time I ever truly felt alone in OSRS, like a creepy alone. That, I think, is the best way that sums it up for me. There isn't shit in that prison. There's not even, you don't even
and you
see
can't
the
log
assassin.
out either, right?
It's instance.
Or you can
There's
log
no other players.
Can't get out.
Every door is closed. It's exactly, and you're trapped in there.
Yeah, your stuff is
and then
gone.
Suddenly out of nowhere, you're not alone. Like it was a creepy feeling, and for me it was amplified because like I did it at work with my door closed.
Ooh,
like the kids were like in some sort of lesson or something. And I was like, I have paperwork to do, clunk, and went right into doing the Gorok prison part. It was a creepy alone feeling. Like that's that sense of like, because you get it in other games, particularly like first person games a lot, you know? Not that I go around like soloing Phasmophobia, because that's my actual nightmare, but like the idea of feeling alone was neat until I was alone and then hunted at the same time. Ooh, God. I love this quest so much.
Yeah.
I did take time to read the notes. Tiki mentions the note. Tiki, our resident lore masters here, so probably going to hear from him once or twice throughout this, but the notes definitely added to it as well, because they're like, yo, this is spooky in here. It really added to the sense of like, the Duke is eating people. This is not okay. And I didn't know what any of the bosses looked like going into it either. So I had no idea that Duke looked like the abomination that he did.
It threw me off that he was a demon, like an abomination demon, because you think Duke Sulius, or whatever his last name is, you think he's like a royal person. And he's got like a high collar and he's going to whip you with his rapier. No, it's a freaking abomination demon.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, before, because once I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's weird. I thought it was like somebody who got the wrong patronage from some demon, and then like they just morphed into that guy, and the Duke was his name before. But I don't know. I don't know the lore behind the Duke. I know that somebody said he's a demon. Because what is the last name? Sulius? Let me look this up.
No idea.
Sulius.
I've just been calling him the Duke.
Duke.
BC.
Duke. And then Baron is the pet. Where is his name? Sucleus. Sucellus. Sucellus.
Suckless.
Duke suck less.
Duke suck.
No, it's a great time. I think the only time that I felt worried, not worried, but like the fear that you're talking about was the strangled, because that's creepy, and I loved it.
I did the strangle. Oh my god!
Seeing all the citizens of Kourend, the ones that like unfortunately wandered into that area over the years, all just like there's soldiers and townsfolk, and they're all just and they see you and they just start running at you. I think we have to update our lore because now there's more than one NPC that can run.
Well, yeah. Well, prior to the release of Next, it was only bloat, and then with the Next, they added the new mechanic where NPCs can run outside of cutscenes. Dude, I think that takes the cake for the single most like scariest part of the quest for me. Like the Gorok puzzle was really creepy, but because you kill one of them, then you kill two more of them, and it's really not that big of a deal. Like, okay, cool, they're zombies, whatever. When you get that little cutscene of you walking into the temple, and it pans down, and there's like 24 of them bitches, and your character's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here." Like, then I was like, "Oh, this is some spooky stuff."
Yeah, and you got to work with somebody who doesn't really trust you, but you're just like happenstance. You have to work with them because now you're stuck. I think that's an interesting part where that happens multiple times in this quest, where it's not happy-go-lucky, we're going to be friends. It's like you're put in the room with somebody who is not necessarily there because they like you, but it's you have to work together. And that was kind of cool. That was actually
when you go downstairs and he's like, "Time to barricade the doors." I'm like, you gotta be shitting me right now. There's zombies running from all different directions.
That part was just fun to me, though. That part was fun.
It was such a fun. Oh, such a fun little, like, we've never seen that in RuneScape before. Like a truly like a wave defense. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And it was so spooky the whole time. You had to go and like stealth your way through all of them. Did you walk on any of the tendrils just to see what would happen?
Yeah, it was in like the Last of Us mechanic where if you step on a mushroom, it like alerts all of them because they're a network. Essentially, the tendrils do the same thing where you step on it alerts all of them in the area because they're all interconnected.
It was wild.
I thought that
was so much fun.
Yeah, I thought that specifically should have tilted me more than it did. But, you know, like getting caught, having to restart was not as bad as I thought. But I think I did that one first. So it wasn't the, like, it's 1 a.m. and I want to go to sleep kind of puzzle. I was fresh into the quest doing that one. Did you get any of the boss fights on the first try besides the Duke?
I didn't even get the Duke on the first try.
I got the Duke on the first try, but I was watching Doc Hart do it, and he had it.
I died.
Crazy.
So I didn't watch anyone do any of the bosses. That was one thing I wanted to do purposefully. Like when I got home from work, I specifically didn't join any VCs because I didn't want to have anyone do the bosses. I don't think I joined a VC until right before I fought Vardorvis because that one looked like Fazani's nightmare to me. And I'm like, this is going to be too hard to do by myself. So if anyone has any like tiles or whatever, I'll gladly take them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It took me at least 2 attempts for every single boss. 3 for the Whisperer. I think it took me 2 for Leviathan, 2 or 3 for the Duke, and then it took me 2 for Vard. And then it took me 2 for the Assassin, because the first time I tried to fight the Assassin, I was under geared and just like teleported out. And then it took me, I think, 3 for the final conglomeration of a fight. Is the skill issue. Mad because bad.
Dude, I tried that last fight like 6 times. I had to like brute force.
We'll get to it.
Oh yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We'll get to it. How did you make it through the Vardorvis, the puzzle section with the zombies? How'd you do it?
I had the wiki. Did you take? I had the wiki, and it highlighted it in pink for you. So that was kind of nice. So when you come in, you go around, up and around a temple, and then down south to the bottom layer, and then up. So I was able to get it fairly easily because of the wiki. But I imagine I wouldn't have caught that at first, like going up and around, like taking the long way around, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Which way did you go?
You want to know how I did it?
Yeah.
I guess and checked my way through to get to the first herb at the north. And I made it. I was real happy. And then every time I tried to go south, it didn't work. And I kept getting caught. So at one point, I made it south and was like, all right, I've been playing Nazi zombies since 2011. We're going to run through the horde, baby. And I did. And I just started fucking booking it.
Yeah.
I'm running top speed, stamina potted up, and just I'm activating tendrils. I've got some screenshots that I'm going to put in the recording booth chat of what it looked like getting chased over the bridge by like.
Did you have time to screenshot it?
Zombies. I just got to hit the control button. I just got to hit the control key, and then I've got it. I'm good. But like, it was crazy. It was so much fun and so like adrenaline, like blood pumping. Like, oh shit, I'm getting chased by a shit ton of zombies. Like,
yeah, getting down to that south herb that was a bit hard. I think
I couldn't figure it out. I just booked it. I booked it and then I cut it left and cut all the zombies off at the bridge. It was wild, dude.
Fear Garden,
so much fun.
Fear in the recording booth says full sprint with Ice Barrage. That was me. If there was ever a large like pack of them and I could cast Ice Barrage, I did it just to get out of the way.
The fact that they can run now is just it was so much scarier. It was so much scarier.
Hold on, Tiki said, did anybody find the lockbox? And then he just said the lockbox on the mountain sends you to an island with no way off. Say what again?
So I think what Tiki is referring to in that little section, if you go down to your area where Varlamore is, where the Stranglewood is, there's a tiny little path with the mining site, and there was a little tunnel that I couldn't get into. I couldn't get into the tunnel. It wouldn't let me into it. I didn't find the lockbox because I didn't go to that second island. Like when I crossed the bridge, I didn't look at any of that other temple stuff because again, I was being chased by zombies the whole time, just trying to get to Vard. Oh yeah, wow! Look at that! I had no idea that was the thing that had sent you there.
That's so funny.
That's funny as
that's funny
as
on the
heck,
screen
though.
there, Oxie.
I'll do just that. The lockbox next to the thing. I might go explore that right now. Take a break from thieving and go check that out. But
Run.
Yeah, the Vard part. Oh God, that was fun. This is such a good quest. Leviathan.
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. So I was saying earlier, 3 of the 4 like minor NPCs were people that you didn't necessarily want to work with, but you're kind of like stuck there. I would say maybe less the Incomdo dwarf, but very much so. Conde or whatever his name is, the first dude, Cassandre and the assassin. But Preston was like a welcome sight. I'm like, whoa, you're just chilling in here, this brain city.
You're like, oh my God,
wow,
you're still alive.
You're chilling, just like camping out 500 feet away from a portal that you could have definitely used more than once.
Yep.
But that one to me, the actual puzzles were really interesting. They were kind of, for me, they were a little bit repetitive in the sense that, yes, there's 3 whole sections, but some of the stuff that you have to do within them are the same. I definitely used the wiki for a lot of them because that part alone, I feel like it could take you at least 3 or 4 hours without a wiki, without a guide. I'm very interested.
That part, it definitely did take me a while without a guide.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what they do with like the quest helper when they finally do that, because that's going to take a lot of coding to figure out, namely the one where like you push the orb and then they're like the ground is electrified and you have to stay with the orb. Like I wonder how they're going to, obviously they'll probably just highlight it. It took me longer than it should have to realize that the red orbs, when you push them, it goes the opposite way. In the green orbs, you push them, it took me way longer to figure that out than it should have, because I was even following the wiki and I got stumped on that part.
That was another, like, I saw that out of context in a random RuneScape Discord that was like, green is forward, red is backward, scar. I'm like, huh? What? But again, didn't want to read up on it too much because, like, not trying to spoil myself for any of it. The scar took me a while. But but it didn't feel bad.
No, it felt fine.
Like, it didn't feel tedious, you know?
Yeah, because you're not. I mean, like apart from the one where you're coughing, you weren't taking much damage, except by the random
Coughs were like
3s. But you can't really AFK. A lot of the ones, if you found a safe spot, you could just AFK and root it up.
How would you know you can't AFK?
Listen, dude, I died.
How would you know you?
I don't know.
Just like out of curiosity, how do you know you can't AFK there?
I did die, yes. So I mentioned the crossword puzzle. I was helping with the crossword puzzle the most as I was trying to do the scar. And I look away from the screen for no more than about 30 seconds. And apparently I had used one of the portals and I ran out, and outside of the portal there was a lesser demon just like throwing rocks at me essentially.
My man definitely choked to death. Go check the death screenshots on RuneLight.
No, that's 100% the demon, bro. Like
go check the death screenshots.
Do I have death turned on? Hold on. Let's see. What is my name? Bloodhound.
Bloodhound.
Deaths. Oh, there are there. Wow, there's a lot of them. I know that. Oh, it is. It is a freaking. I'm gonna post this. You're gonna feel real silly, mister.
I don't know. We'll see.
You're gonna feel real silly.
We'll see.
So there's my death. Zoom in on that.
Looks like choke damage.
No. Do you see
looks like
the
choke
projectile?
Damage killed you there while you were getting it. Oh, I see the projectile, but it doesn't hit you yet.
You're ridiculous.
Michael died to choke.
You're ridiculous. Confirmed. Michael died to choke damage. Confirmed. Surprisingly, the night that I did, I'm pulling up screenshots again. I only died 4 times on the 28th. I guess I did most of the bosses on the 29th then, because I didn't look at the 29th, but there's definitely a lot, like at least a lot. I died at least 6 times to the final boss, so you can you can teleport out, by the way, just so you guys are aware, and you don't have to spend 400,000 GP on your gravestone. It's a little word to the wise there. Don't spend 400k per death. So the Scar was good. The Leviathan was interesting. I think I got the Leviathan on my second try after learning that the projectiles hit you when they hit you, not when it's shot. That was an interesting. I like that mechanic, I think, more than I like whenever. So the example I have is Zulrah, right? If you could pray against the projectile rather than like having to just guess, Zulrah would be a lot more mechanically interesting, because then you could prayer flick. You could switch prayers whenever the blue face starts to go rogue and it sends a magic attack. You could just pray against magic and you could actually get no damage on Zulrah. But I don't know that they're going to change all that.
No, I mean, they're not going to change it for Zulrah, but I mean, that's just, there's 2 different styles of attacks. Either the damage calculates, like the damage rolls and calculates the minute the animation starts or the minute the projectile hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, Leviathan is the minute it hits you.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to pay attention to because you'll see the orb above its head right before it shoots it when you're one tick alternating.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll be like, you'll see it above its head and then it will fire it.
That'd be so rough.
There's that. When I fought Leviathan, they said use shadow spells or whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
And I had it in my head, like, okay, I'll bring shadow spells. No problem. I didn't use them at all in the first fight because I didn't know you were supposed to.
Mm.
So I was getting machine gunned by Leviathan. But I was doing pretty okay. I think I made it to the 3rd cycle where it was one tick alternating.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just crazy. I'm like, this is too much to handle. And I missed a prayer switch and I died. And I'm like, how are you supposed to? You're supposed to shadow barrage the boss.
Yeah, because that resets it.
Oh my god. Yeah, it resets it and then it stuns it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I went in the second time and just like stunned it off the rip to see what would happen. I'm like, I'm so stupid.
That's good. That's so good.
Yeah. It was good. It was good stuff. I'll say this now, right? I'm very pleased and very proud of you for getting through the bosses with as little attempts as it took you. Because after doing particularly Vardorvis and Leviathan, I was like, Michael's gonna have a fucking ball. Like, I don't know if he's ever one take alternated in his life. Like, this is gonna be something. When you messaged me, Michael messages me randomly and said, he was like, yeah, already got Vardorvis done. I was at my friend's house and went, oh, thank God. Because I thought that I had the hardest time, I think, with Vard.
Yeah.
Just like trying to, like, you'll get immediately stacked. You can take a spike, an auto, an axe, and the arrow thing, like, all at the same time, and you're bleeding.
Yeah.
So, like, you can just, like, get nuked immediately. But you did very well with the PVM stuff.
Thank you.
Like, don't get me wrong, some of it wasn't super clean, but it didn't matter because it was the first time you were doing the quest, and I'm very glad you made it through, and I'm very glad you didn't be like, I'm stopping. I'm not doing this. I don't care. Because it was now you can definitely do Corrupted Gauntlet. If you can get through Desert Treasure 2, you can definitely do Corrupted Gauntlet.
Yeah. That definitely is a confidence boost for sure. Like, mechanically, Corrupted Gauntlet seems easy compared to, so you spend, for instance, like you spend, I don't know, 500 or 600 kills at Leviathan, and Corrupted Gauntlet's going to feel like you're at the playground. You know what I mean? Just like the amount of attention that you have to spend when killing Leviathan or even the Whisperer, it's just like the mental brain power it takes. And for the Corrupted Gauntlet, you're sitting there like, count to 3, switch prayer. Okay, now I switch my weapon. Oh, tornadoes, run around. Don't step on the floor. That's it. Like, you killed it.
Submedian and I we were doing, obviously everyone was doing the bosses most of the day, Saturday and Sunday. Submedian and I ran like a power trip 175 at TOA.
Yeah.
Because I had a pretty chill like 170 like layout or loadout or whatever. We ran that and we're like, is this what this raid feels like after you've done it? But like, it was so stupid easy because we spent the last 4 days like
Yep, like white knuckling
and then it's
your mouse.
like level 1 Zebek is so slow. but I mean, it does add a lot of very good mechanics that are used other places in the game that you don't really get to see if you're not at the, I'm gonna say not at the higher level, not in a gatekeepy way, but like, you mid gamers don't one tick alternate. You mid gamers don't have to like blow pipe walk pretty much anything.
Here's the thing,
you know.
Yes, there's a lot of mechanics, but it's stuff that's definitely like, it can be forgiving in the moment. If you're not like,
it's the quest versions are forgiving.
Yes,
and I think it's awesome that it showcases that. That it showcases that way before you like need it. Because I think before the Whisperer fight, before you went in there, I was killing it, and I'm like, I got a comment about Whisperer, and I don't think Michael's gonna like it very much. And you're like, say it, just say it, and I'm like, it's just Inferno mechanics, and you're like, ah, damn it.
So, like, well, speaking of Inferno mechanics, you talk about one tick alternate. There are people who have never seen somebody do that or heard of that term. So can you explain that for all the mid gamers in the chat? What is one tick alternating?
So the game runs on a tick system, obviously. One tick alternate is you switch your overhead prayer every tick, right? So range, mage, range, mage, range, mage, range, mage, at about that rhythm. Depending on what you're facing, in the Inferno, for example, those are enemies that calculate the damage as soon as the animation starts. So as soon as the ranger puts his hands up in the Inferno, you can switch your pair off a range because the damage has already been calculated. So bosses like Whisperer, for example, for those of you who have fought Whisperer, at the very end where it will go range, mage, range, that's one tick apart. When the Leviathan is at its fastest, that is one tick apart. So that is one tick alternating. You're just going back and forth. There's one tick flicking where you turn your prayer off and on in the same tick and save prayer. I don't do that very well at all, so I don't. I can lazy flick pretty okay, and the one tick alternating just feels good. Otis says Wokes Walk, which I imagine he means Wook's Walk. Is the Wook's Walk the same as the one tick? It still uses the tick system, but you're not alternating anything. You're just walking from tile to tile. So the Wook's Walk, most commonly used at Vorkath, you're walking out of range to attack something, and then when you click back on it, your character turns, and as you're hitting it, you're clicking off, because you never want your true tile to stay in the same place for more than one tick. It works the same way with Leviathan. You can apparently Wook's Walk the lightning with a Bofa or with a blowpipe or something like that. I've not been able to do it because I'm pretty bad at Leviathan right now. I'm not going to lie. Not nearly as bad at Leviathan as I am at Duke. I don't know why.
Are you bad at Duke?
Hate Duke.
Okay, have you seen Doc kill Duke? I think you should. I'll do a kill. I haven't done the post-quest version, so I don't know, but like, I'll do a kill and show you. It's pretty chill.
I'm just not patient.
You have to be patient with Duke. It takes time.
Well, so Fear in the recording booth chat mentioned that Duke is pretty much mini Verzik P2, which it is, but the Duke is 5 tick. So the familiar rhythm of walk in, stay, walk out, walk in, stay, walk out, it doesn't there. It's not there because I'm too quick. I'm trying to go too fast, and I'm getting schmacked.
Oh, just slow down,
it's not,
brother. Slow.
That's the thing.
Chill.
I'm too fast.
You gotta drink some
at the Duke.
Some chamomile tea. You slow down a bit.
I'm gonna have some of that shit that you ferment. In the thing, and just knock a couple bits of that.
Can we talk about that for a second? I think that
the prep.
It's an interesting thing that I haven't had a ton of experience with. But like, I can't imagine 600 kills, 700 kills into this. It's gonna be fun to keep having to go up there, make a potion, go back, start the kill. Like, that's never been done for a boss in RuneScape, and it's so interesting that like all the other ones you just click boss, start, kill, but you have to like wake this guy up every time with this potion. We literally have a sleeping dragon that you can just poke, but this guy takes 2 potions to wake up. How is that a boss? You could just leave him dead and never have to worry about him.
Yeah, the point of the dragon is sleeping and you just poke him to wake him up. My other favorite is that of the entirety of the lake or sea that is the Poison Wastes, Zulrah just so happens to be at this one island every single time you row out there.
Yeah.
It's like a Pavlovian response. Like, Zulrah sees the boat and is like, time to go. Like, they're waiting for me over there. But yeah, I'm super indifferent about the prep phase of Duke. Not because I think it's a good mechanic, just because I don't really care.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. I wish I was. I wish I was better at it, because, boy, is it so frustrating to take a 70 before the kill even starts, because you get hit by the eyes. I wish there was a way to mitigate that. And maybe there is. Maybe, who knows? Maybe like bringing a mirror shield mitigates it. Maybe using a potion on the eyeballs mitigates it. But by the time this episode releases, it's been 8 days since the quest has been out. If there's some secret meta, it's probably already been established. People in the recording booth chat keep saying you can run through the aisles like the Zebek puzzle, which I imagine you can, but fellas, I'm bad. D4 Drake says you can mitigate it by not getting hit. That's one less person in this recording booth. Get the fuck out of here. Listen, I'm bad. I'm not good.
Hold on.
At the Duke.
The one kill that I did for the quest, I ran from one side to the other. So you have like the 3 eyeballs in the middle. I ran from one side of the eyeballs to the other and didn't get hit at all. Are you just saying you're that bad? I did it on both sides.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, I am outing myself as a
Fair
shitty GVMer because I am not good at the Duke.
I think the name of the game is
Whisper,
Patient.
Vard, love it. Have a blast at Whisper. Have a blast at Vardorvis. Duke, I'm not, I'm really not a fan, and I, for the life of me, don't know why.
Someone take his Infernal Cave. D4 Drake's just on it today.
Dude, I was getting my shit pushed in by the final bosses. And of course, I'm getting laughed at VC because I was the only one who have the quest on at the time. So, because like the final 4 are really not that hard to fight. It's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening.
Oh yeah.
So I died to some like I died to like the leeches at the final part, and I got my stuff back, and I'm like, I have an Infernal Cape, by the way. I'm pretty good at this game. It's like my 3rd or 4th time I died to that final section. Like, yeah,
That's good.
I need to get better at the Duke. But like, I also don't really. I just want the teleport because the teleport is so cool.
Teleport so
is
good for
good.
Muspa too. It's like right there.
Yeah,
It's right there.
yeah, that's
And if I wanted to
kinda
camp
wild.
Muspa, it's a good teleport. All of them
you
are good
kind of
teleports.
have to at this point.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
so much that this is why we think this is going to be a long episode because there's so much to talk.
We haven't
about.
even gotten.
We're just raving.
We literally
Yeah,
we're
we're in-
buttering the toast right now. Like the top of the toast
We're
is buttered.
we're talking about the quest, not the post quest and the implications that it has, or future quests as well. We got strap in and strap on Xpwaste. We got a lot of ground to cover still.
Nearly an hour in, and we're just like scratch the surface. This is just the surface.
Yeah. Where was the best place that you got the assassin?
I mitigated the assassin in almost every attempt. So, okay, so if you don't want to be spoiled by the assassin, just skip ahead about 15 seconds. Now they're gone. Okay. I was not necessarily spoiled by the sandwich lady thing, but it did catch me off guard because what happened was I tallied away and I was like, oh, the sandwich lady. I'm going to get my croissant. And then I went back. I was waiting for her in my house. I'm like, she's not showing up. She's supposed to show up. So then I go back to Narda and then she's there. And I'm sorry if that was longer than 15 seconds and you guys got spoiled, but
I said it in the opening. This is a spoiler for Desert Treasure 2.
true.
My best was in my house.
I saw that. And I was trying to force spawn in my house, but didn't happen. But
yeah, Tiki reminded me in the recording booth chat that the Assassins has welcome home because I was so
does
like,
it?
what the fuck are you doing in here? So I fought it next to my ornate rejuvenation pool the entire time and just cheesed the hell out of that fight. I want to see. I know I've got a screenshot of it in here somewhere.
while you're looking for that, I have a question. Did you kill it in your house and then have to kill him again?
Yeah, so that's the thing. This was after Leviathan. So this was after my 3rd boss fight. Popped up in my house, killed it right in front of my rejuvenation pool because I happened to bring a Sang staff because I thought I would have needed it for the Shadow Barrage when I did the quest. And I was shook that this thing was in my house. I'm disappointed that they teleport away. You don't kill them.
Okay.
I was disappointed with the sandwich lady thing because I was unspoiled for it. I was unspoiled when I went to Narda to finish the quest. I used the fairy ring, and I was so excited to finish the quest. For the first time ever, I chose to ignore the sandwich lady that popped up when I got out of the fairy ring. Sandwich lady popped up, but like I don't know if I didn't notice it at first, but like it was far enough away where I was like, I'm going. Like I didn't see dialogue over her head.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going to finish the quest. And then I'm all over Twitter. People are like, this is the worst day of my life. They go for this stale baguette. It's the assassin pops up. Like I think, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's done this. I was so goddamn afraid of random events.
Mm-hmm.
the whole weekend after
Yep,
Desert Treasure
yep.
2. I finished the quest. I think they upped the amount of sandwich ladies that spawn now post quest just for like the weekend, because the amount of them sons of bitches I've seen now that show up, it's horrible. I'll be like on my way to the Whisper, sandwich lady pops up. I'm like, oh, I so don't have time for this. And they're like, have a square sandwich on me. I'm like, oh, okay. like
so good. I felt the same way. It's so good.
That was a super cool mechanic, and I really appreciate Jagex for doing that. People in the recording booth chat are saying that they should do that for April Fools, and just kill everybody.
It's so good. Yeah. It's unexpected. And that's the thing I like about this quest is they've taken whoever designed this part of the quest, or if it was one person that did the whole thing, kudos to that JMod. Or if it was a team of JMods, I don't know. But like, that's just so unexpected. And
also, you suck. You took the player's trust and you just
I think
manhandled it.
Yes, in a joking way.
We all want that stale baguette.
In a joking way, yes, they suck for it, but like that's just it's one of those times where like if you get pranked by a really good prank, you can't be mad. Like you can't be mad. That's just so good.
No, it was and it really was. It was good too. It was a lot of fun. The actual assassin itself is also fascinating.
Yeah.
They put like tribrid PK AI into this thing. So, because it switches weapons, it switches overhead prayers, it teleblocks you, and it dragon spears you.
Yeah.
It knocks you back and stuns you for a couple of seconds. I was like, what the fuck am I fighting right now? This is insane.
Jagex is like taking a page out of the book of all the LMS bots.
Well, they've been talking about wanting to put that PK boss in, that like tribrid rat boss for free to play or whatever it is, for so long.
So maybe all the mechanics are already there.
So they can do it.
Yeah.
Clearly they can do it. Like that was so cool. And then fighting at the very end was, well, like the penultimate fight with the assassin.
I felt that was the easiest of them all for me.
The easiest of the major fights, I think.
Of the the minor fights. Is that a minor fight or a major fight? I would call that a minor fight.
I don't well, it was the hardest of the minor fights, because also like the Elemental Guardian at the beginning, Cassandre.
Easy.
Those weren't really like mechanically difficult fights, especially compared to those 4 bosses.
Oh, right.
Holy shit, they weren't like. But I thought the assassin was pretty
good. Is it she or he?
It was good stuff.
I imagined her as a she, actually.
Everyone said she, because I didn't actually pay attention to the body model until like the very end. And I'm like, I think I was watching someone else do the quest. I'm like, holy shit, that is a she. Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I have no idea who the assassin is.
Maybe they did it. Maybe they said she in the wiki, and that's why I'm associating with a female.
I don't know. I have no idea. And I kind of wish we would have found out who the assassin was, but I get why we didn't.
Who's the assassin
unless we do
for? The end guy, right? Sliske? Is the assassin working for Sliske?
Maybe, I don't know. Which I guess transitions into the big part of this quest.
Well, hold on. Did we talk about all the bots? We talked about Leviathan, Whisper, Duke, and with the last one, we did talk about it. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, we can move on.
It transitions to the big reveal at the very end. I deafened in VC because I didn't want anyone like talking over it or spoiling it or whatever. I undeafened, I think, twice. First, when they're like, I sense 5 Majorat, and then it was Sliske at the front, whereas Garnier Smith was. And then when he summoned the Barrows brothers, I was losing my mind.
I still get chills, dude.
It was so good.
I still get chills.
Such good content. And this is a question I was asking Michael last night, right? So the craziest part was when he's like, what are you talking about? We were working together the entire time. And he phased through each of the different fucking side characters.
So good.
Oh my God. The assassin and Purston and all this stuff. I asked Michael, I'm like, How long do you think he's been these people? Like
Hmm.
how long do you think he was Wizard Preston or whatever? Because at the beginning of Temple of the Eye, Preston, I think, is it Preston? I don't know.
I was
The
called him
wizard lady
Preston.
the wizard lady from Temple of the Eye, if I remember correctly, just sort of like shows up and is like, yeah, I do a bunch of crazy exploring. Woo, you know?
Oh, it is Preston.
So how long
Preston.
how long was Sliske that person?
Ooh.
Was Asgarnia Smith never actually a real person in Desert Treasure 1?
That's a great question.
That's
Yeah.
What about the assassin when the assassin in Devious Minds stole the thing from Entrana?
Well, the assassin, like, how could you hire yourself, right? Like, the assassin was hired by Sliske.
Maybe Sliske hired the assassin, immediately took his life, and then just started doing random shit.
Maybe.
You know.
Here's my theory. So, I think that Sliske commandeered these people's lives once he felt like they were necessary to further his goals. So I don't know if Perstan was always Sliske, but I think once Sliske realized that body, that person, could be useful in his end game, then he and I don't know if that means that during the quests, like the prerequisite quests that we had to do. So like if during Temple of the Eye she was being controlled, or like he had already taken over her, I don't know. But maybe after, and it could be this way for all of them. So like maybe after the fact, he's like, oh, she has a lot of knowledge, because like, I feel like you randomly find it. I haven't done Temple of the Eye for a long time, but like, I feel like in that part, they weren't even searching for the abyss, but then they just happened upon it. And then there's like several years that pass, and then you go back and you're like, hey, you guys have like set up shop here. That's one of them. The assassin's a great. Go ahead.
A fun little lore nugget from the recording booth chat. Tiki says it's Perstain, and the full name Mia Perstain is an anagram for I am serpent. And apparently in RS3, the serpent is Sliske.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's fun. They've been cooking this up for a while, and if that's it's good.
Yo,
it feels
Mod Ed.
good.
Shout out to Mod Ed. Gosh, that guy is a
Truly.
freaking genius. I would love to have him on the podcast.
I would too. I would love to get any J mod on the
He's
on
like
the show.
the
at
lore
this
guy,
point.
though. Like, he's the guy.
I would love to. Well, so here's the problem I would foresee with getting Mod Ed on the show. We would ask him questions, and he'd go, "Can't tell you."
Well, no, like the stuff like that. Like, I am serpent. He probably could speak to past things, but we can't be like, hey, so what's Sliske gonna be doing in the next quest?
But you gotta be careful with past things, though, because if he said a year ago to us on the show, like, hey, you know, Mia Perston's name is an anagram, people would have figured it out, like the greater community. For those of you that don't know, Tiki is part of, I believe it's the Runestone Hunters, Tiki. It's like a puzzle-solving community in OSRS. So he and not his buddies in the sense, there's just like a couple of them. He runs like a ton of people who solve this shit regularly, right? I would never have figured that out. I would never have looked at that and been like, oh yeah, that's Sliske. When that came out, Guardians of the Rift, when was it, like last fall or something? Whenever it dropped?
Yeah.
A year, 2 years ago? How long has that quest been out?
I was still working.
Now. What's it called?
It was
Temple of the Eye?
Yeah, I was at least working at my old job. So like 2021, or like I left my old job mid 2022. So it's been at least a year.
March 2022. Holy shit, that feels like a long time ago. March of 2022.
Like a year and a couple months. Yeah.
God, that feels like so long ago. But like, that's not something I would have figured it out. Tiki says they've been planning it and have had hints since 2020.
What?
Like, that's not something I ever would have solved. So
That's amazing.
Like on my own. Like
that's
it's
amazing.
God, it's so good.
Yeah.
I have an absolute blast with this quest.
While we're giving
You know
kudos,
what this means though? Go ahead, more kudos, give them, toss them out.
So while we're giving kudos to the JMods, like just the fact that we had 4 seemingly random quests all lead into this was really cool. So like never in a million years would I think that Temple of the Eye and Below Ice Mountain, this random free-to-play quest, would be like conjoined together to form this bigger story. Never would have thought. Like that was really cool. So there's Below Ice Mountain. There's Below Ice Mountain, Temple of the Eye, Garden of Death, and what was the 4th one?
Secrets of the North.
Secrets of the North. Secrets of the North is a little more obvious, obviously. But yeah, good stuff. Real good stuff.
Really, really good stuff.
And the expansions to the areas were really well done too. I think that like going in there, not just having it feel like it was forced, felt amazing. Like when you went into Camdozel and you saw this big black pit. I don't know if that pit was there when the quest came out because I don't remember going back that far into the cave. But, you know, it seems cool that like these archaeologists came in and after the fact, and then they were able to like uncover this massive cave system that like in retrospect, it feels as massive as something like the dwarf city. No, the goblin city. I'm blanking on that name. It feels Dorgish Khan. Yeah, it feels as massive as Dorgish Khan, but with like way more depth. And like they could do a lot post quest with that area. Like that could be a thriving city with the Camdozel dwarves if they came back. And then you just so happen to be like, hey, don't go over there because there's this demon fight, you know, this whispery ghost thing. Just don't go over there. The rest of the city's fine. We'll clean up the shadowy parts, but anything else is fine. But there's just so cool. It's like with, for instance, the Gorak dungeon, the Gorak prison, so much more opportunity for things to be in there. They've already got 2 massive bosses. Why not throw a 3rd or a 4th? And they all could be friggin' awesome demons that you have to fight because it's a prison. And what are in prisons? Bad things. Most of the time. Anyway, what you were saying, I just wanted to give a little more kudos.
So, did you catch them talking about it in the quest at all? They said it a few times. The next big, the final installment for all this?
No.
The Ritual of the Majorat?
Oh, yeah. The ritual.
Or the next big one? So this is where my understanding of RS3 kind of cuts off entirely. Apparently all of this stuff leads to the World Wakes or something.
Okay.
Maybe it's something like that, which I know like Ritual of the Majorat, While Guthix Sleeps, the World Wakes are all fantastic quests. I don't know what direction they're going to go because we're not they've made it very clear that they don't want to do the 6th age. They don't want to bring the gods back. They don't want you to be this like world guardian character. The JMods in Old School are perfectly content to have you be this nobody who, on one hand, literally stopped a dragon army from decimating an entire continent, only to go like 2 cities over and be like, yeah, whoop-de-fucking-do. My cousin killed a dragon once too. Anyway, go get this axe sharpened for me. Like, like they're content with that, which I think is kind of cool. It adds to the fun little like adventure bit of this dumb little game, but
yeah.
I don't know how Ritual of the Majorat or anything that comes after this tops this quest. And I don't mean in the sense of like tops it like it's not going to be fun. Like the finale of this story is going to be amazing. I just don't know, like, how do you make it harder? We're looking at a Grandmaster quest that has a requirement of a Grandmaster quest completion. That doesn't exist for any other quest.
Right.
Like, that's wild. I think the only one that had anything close, I think Monkey Madness 2 required Monkey Madness. But I feel like that's it. Song of like Morning's End Part 2 is not a master level quest. DS2, I don't think so.
Dragon Slayer 2?
And then, yeah, what did DS2 require? Nothing crazy.
Oh, I've got it pulled up right here. Legends Quest, Dream Mentor, Tale of Two Cats, Animal Magnetism, Coast Ahoy, Bon Voyage, Clan and Cran, and 200 quest points.
So I think Dream Mentor is technically classified as a master quest.
Yeah.
Technically. But comparatively, like Dream Mentor and Monkey Madness compared to Desert Treasure 2 is a prereq?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Shit's going to be insane. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited for what the future holds. Did you happen to watch the live stream that happened today?
No, I did not.
So on the live stream, Mod Ed was talking about this exact thing. And he said they're not just going to like release the finale or the next big part like in next week. He said there's like 5 more quests that need to come out because we've wrapped up some storylines and we've tied some storylines in, but others have not. He mentioned Lucian. Remember Temple of Ikov?
Yeah.
That guy.
Huh.
You gotta bring that guy in somehow.
Oh,
like there's more quests left to come. So we're eating good for quests. Now, I kind of want to get off topic a little bit, but we're going to get back to it, right? Because we got so much more to talk about for DT2. We're going to do the thing, right? We're going to do the thing where we tangent.
Yeah, tangent. I love it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Summer Summit is coming up in like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Summer Summit is 3 weeks. Now, they have... we already know they're probably going to talk about Deadman because it's a week away. Hopefully they announce a new league. They're probably not going to announce a new raid. They'll probably announce some sort of skilling expansion, whether it's a forestry type expansion or another skilling mini game like Guardians of the Rift or Wintertod. They might also announce another quest. Here's my question for you.
Yeah.
I've heard it mentioned by him, and he's talking about it now in the recording booth chat. Tiki, the puzzle solver, the lore guy, quest guy, he thinks they're going to follow up with the Menephos storyline.
Okay.
Which would be some sort of continuation to Beneath Cursed Sands.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Right? Any other speculation of what it might be?
Okay, so there's 2 major content releases, and I think Tiki has said them both in the recording booth. So there's the City of Menephos, and then there's Varlamore, that we still need to have. Like, there's 2 main, like, blacked out areas on the map, and it could be either of those. It really could be either of them.
Which is true. I think it could be something I don't have any clues to go off this. I just have timelines of, like, IRL release timelines, but I think it could be something a little different, but I don't know.
What are you thinking?
I think it could be Lord of Vampirium.
So is that like with the
sequel to Sins of the Father?
Okay.
The finale of the vampire storyline. Again, I don't have any like spreadsheets of like clues and shit that have happened, right? The reason why I bring it up, Sins of the Father came out in June of 2020. Right? A lot of the quests that we've looked at, they don't take a super long, the old school era quests, that is, they don't take super long to get big sequels. And I mean like the difference between Morning's End Part 2 and Song of the Elves sequel, right? Let's see if I can order these quests. Quest list sorting by release date. That's what I want to do, right? So
D4 Drake says 2 small favors. 2 small favors.
So 2018, we got A Taste of Hope. That was a sequel to Darkness of Hollowvale. 2020, we got Sins of the Father. 2020, we only got 4 new quests. Dear God, 2020 was so bad for content.
That's
2020
that
was
was
so bad for content.
no, it wasn't. It 2021. That was like the driest year we ever had, and like we were talking about E3 because it was so dry. Or was that
Well,
2022?
there was a rough period of time in 2021, but we also got Below Ice Mountain in 2021. We got A Night at the Theater. We got Kingdom Divided.
Maybe it was
we got the Frozen Door.
Huh.
No, it was 2020 and 2021. There were some rough years for content. It was not a good time for some of it. But I just don't. They've not really taken super long to do follow-ups for quests. The only reason why it's taken so long for some of them is because, like, I think the sequel to Desert Treasure, it's been 18 years since Desert Treasure came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, was it 9 years between Morning's End Part 2 and Song of the Elves? Let's see.
I think it was 19 years.
No, it was way more, because Morning's End Part 2... Let's see. Yeah, MEP 2 was 2005. 14 years.
14 years.
Between Song of the Elves and Morning's End Part 2. And then some quests that didn't need sequels, quote unquote, got them after the fact, like Dragon Slayer 2 and Monkey Madness 2. I don't think they're going to make us wait too much longer for Lord of Vampirium. At least I wouldn't think.
It's been 3 years.
And I think
at
it
this
might be
point.
nice. I think it might be nice to mix it up and draw the player's attention elsewhere.
True.
For a little while,
True.
you know, just so like, because they've said, I think it took them 6 months to design and get the quest in the game.
That's not very long.
That doesn't include the hints or the writing or the
true.
The story, because a good story, right? And Mod Ed also mentioned this, but a really good story needs a lot of time to develop, right? Look at 2 examples, right? Game of Thrones and the Avengers. 2019 held the release of both the series finale of Game of Thrones and Avengers Endgame. One of those finales is absolutely amazing. It made people emotional. People were screaming when they first watched it. It was very, very good. The other one was a steaming pile of dog shit written by the 2 worst writers in cinematic history. There's a lot of reasons why one of them was bad and one of them was good. But part of the reason why Endgame was amazing is because of the payoff.
Yeah.
We started the journey with Iron Man in 2008, I think it was, when the first Iron Man came out. And then 11 years later, I Am Iron Man, right at the very end. That was huge. Game of Thrones, they wrapped up 3 storylines in 45 minutes in the shittiest way possible because they didn't give the story time to flesh itself out, right?
Yeah.
The sequel to Desert Treasure 2, sequels, other side quests like Below Ice Mountain and Garden Death style things, they're gonna take time, both in the sense of like storytelling takes time, but also like development time, you know? I imagine they're taking a much needed, break from quest development at the moment. So, that's why I'm thinking we're looking at Lord of Vampirium. Because again, if you think about it, we're really not that far away from Beneath Cursed Sands. I think if they want to do something similar with story build-up, they could do another small quest for Amenephos. They could do another small quest for the vampire stuff too. We have no idea. But they already did. That's the thing. Oh, it's I don't have any clues. I want it to be the finale of the vampire story.
You're a whore for the vampires,
we already got
man. You really are.
We already got our little mini quests.
Yeah.
Right? We got A Night at the Theater.
Mm-hmm. Which oddly enough it's not in the actual vampire storyline, which I think is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
No. When you sort by storyline, it's not. It's a miscellaneous quest.
Okay,
which is so weird. Because there's like requirements to have Night of the Theater done before you can do other quests.
Mm-hmm. But Tiki posted a clue in the recording booth chat.
Posted many clues.
In the depths she has sealed them. Their power becomes hers. The father lives on. Alas, he's not the man he once was. A door will finally open. A body lies within. The fate of the future, it lies in the past. He will save us all. A new evil rises in an unlikely place, but the rhythm will be her undoing. Before sacrificing to the mighty Zulrah comes the dawn. When they say you're going off the rails, they're jealous that you can fly. So many symbols, so many signs. What do they mean? The answer is written in blood. The city of gold, they call it. Alas, the gold is that of fools. Long he has waited. At last, the most loyal servant will make his move. A horn was hidden in the sand, sealed away by the forgotten four. So that last bit, that's Desert Treasure 2.
Yeah, so I think all of these separately are hints to other quests.
But
not
so
to be rid, like, essentially each one is separate.
Yeah, they're four different pieces. There's one line in the second one, but the rhythm will be her undoing. That sounds like P2 Verzik. With the rhythm.
But what about Zulrah? It says, before sacrificing to the mighty Zulrah comes the dawn. What about Zulrah ties in with Verzik? The fate of the future, it lies in the past. He will save us all. A new evil arises in an unlikely place, but the rhythm will be her undoing. Before sacrificing to the mighty Zulrah comes the dawn.
Yeah. I guess it's TOA, Song of the Elves, Desert Treasure 2, and then the third one is something random. But there's either way, regardless of what they talk about at Summer Summit, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. We're going to be eating. If you guys are Quest fans and lore fans, we've got some good stuff coming up. Right? Good stuff coming up for Quest. Because Desert Treasure 2, honest to God, and I'll just put it right there on the table. I know I've had a lot of favorite quests in the past. I think this one finally takes a cake.
Yeah. How can it not?
I think I finally found one that has had more of an emotional impact and more of like a, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Than
how
this
can it
one.
not?
Desert Treasure 2. You're right. How can it
Find me another quest that at the end of it, your jaw dropped and you got chills.
Biohazard.
There is
but
no
I wasn't
plague in West
spoiled for
Ardoin.
that. I wasn't spoiled. I genuinely had no idea. Because I didn't do these quests as kids.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of this as kids. I just got turned into an ice cube at Castle Wars and thought it was cool. But I never knew how to actually do it. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. To me, there's no other quest that has given me that type of like physical reaction to, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This one did. I feel like before this, A Kingdom Divided was probably close.
But A Kingdom Divided was good.
It was good. I feel like
Kingdom Divided was good. It was what Game of Thrones season 8 should have been.
Yeah,
like that shit was.
I
good.
did like Kingdom Divided a lot. It was like the first quest that I really had ever done without a guide, start to finish. Sat down, did it, and then, you know, the betrayal of them killing the king, and then finding out that potentially the queen hired the assassin so that her son could take the throne. Oh boy, that's going to be a good follow up.
Yeah,
uncovering all that. But no, Desert Treasure is so good.
God, it was so good. And it has absolutely massive implications.
Nice transition
for the rest of the game. Like, with people have been kind of complaining that there's not a ton of really good rewards. Because let's be honest, there's really not. You don't get a lot of cool items. But they mentioned today in the live stream, and I think the JMod said it best. Most of the Grandmaster quests don't actually physically give you anything that's worth using. They unlock content to engage with after the fact. You don't get an assembler from Dragon Slayer 2, you unlock Vorkath. You don't, get all your Zenites, you get Demonic Gorillas. You don't get your Bofa, you get Gauntlet. Right? Now you don't get these rings or the Soul Reaper axe or whatever, but you get the bosses to be able to do them. And that's, God,
and the ability to wear them.
Huge.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, thinking about the rewards, like, you have to do this absolutely insane quest to be able to just wear the new rings. Like, you could be rich as all get out and not have 75 fire making because you're just a dirty PVMer and you can't get yourself to Wintertod, but you don't have that ring yet. Like, you have to go and do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. I like that they did lock the requirement to wear the ring behind the quest, because that means that day one you couldn't just drop, you remember how many bills they are for the rings, the first one that gets sold, you couldn't just drop the money. You had to spend the 10 to 15 hours that it took to do the quest before you could go and have the ring for yourself.
It didn't take everyone 10 to 15 hours. I think the shortest I've heard was people got it done in 3 or 4 without a guide.
I guess if you're just skipping through the dialogue, but why would you do that?
That's the thing. I didn't. I read everything. I think it took me 7 hours total, 7 or 8 total. But I meticulously every piece of dialogue, every fucking note, tablet, every examine text. I was all over that shit. Did you see? There's a little sea slug in the Gorok prison.
No.
The little tiny sea slug from the Slug Menace quest.
Oh, really?
There was one of them in a jar in the Gorok prison.
Oh, wow.
So, fun little detail.
Yeah.
TMD, while doing the quest on his Iron Man, found the book. What was the book? The Lusty Asgarnian Maid or something? Yeah.
What?
It was
in the prison?
There's a in the Gorok prison.
Gorok prison
there
was
is a
full
book.
of Easter eggs, man.
There is a book that is called The Lusty Anna Carl Maid Volume 1, which is a Skyrim joke from the Lusty Argonian Maid series from Skyrim.
That's amazing.
Where, if I remember correctly from my, rather astute readings of Skyrim literature, it's pretty much just this reptile maid fucks the person she's working for.
Oh.
That's the entirety of the series, and it is a series in Skyrim.
Gotcha.
It's fun to go around and explore little copies of the books. It's stuff like that is fun.
They had in the prison they had the torture chambers, and if you examined it, it said not that type of fantasy game.
Not that type of fantasy game. Yeah, that was good. That was real good. Yeah, so the quest took me quite a long time. Do you understand the drop mechanics? You know what they are? How the ring pieces
That's the one
work?
thing I haven't really looked into. I know my basic knowledge is essentially, and you're going to obviously need to correct me because I'm probably wrong. So from what I can gather, you have 3 chances at getting the ring. So essentially, you have to roll on the ring table 3 times, and then on the 3rd time you actually get it. But on the first 2, it's like, aha, you would have got it, but that's your first strike. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Yeah, so I'm not going to correct you at all. There's no, I was going to say, my man, I just genuinely didn't know if you read the blog post, because Michael will do this really cool thing where we'll be like, yeah, what are we talking about? He'll go like, let's talk about the Desert Treasure 2 update. I'm like, oh, sick, let's talk about Desert Treasure 2. We'll sit down beforehand, and I'll be like, so what do you want to touch on? He's like, that's crazy you mentioned that. I've not watched shit. I've not read a single page of these blogs. I'm like, then why do you want to talk about it? He's like, I don't know. Seems cool. So just wanted to make sure you were up to snuff there. But yes, that's exactly how it is. It's a new drop mechanic where I watched a solo mission video and he broke it down pretty well, where there's less of a chance that you're going to go dry or something. There's less of a chance you're going to go dry and more of a guarantee that you end up getting it. But we don't know how long that's going to take because it's still random.
I see.
So you're at this point, nobody's dry for the ring because we don't know. Right. There have been people who have been spooned the ring pieces and get the vestiges at 47 KC, but it's a lot of fun to not have any indicator, in my opinion, of when you get a ring roll. So since it's come out, I've gotten the Shadow Tablet, the Shadow Quartz, the Scarred Tablet, and a Virtus Mask. Those are the drops I've received. Those are cool. It makes a little ding noise, just like Muspa does when you get a unique. So that's pretty neat. But I think only a few people in the clan have seen ring pieces, and they're the people who have gone absolutely, like, they've gone gangbusters on these damn bosses.
Yeah, we had
Like hundreds of kills.
Rust of Fury ended at rank 12 overall when he got the ring piece.
Nutty, right? But we don't know if that's on raid or not.
Right.
You know, I think D4 Drake said, no, it's not D4. Buckeye says Venator bow with invisible shards. That's basically what it is. Arcane in the stream today mentioned that something about collecting shards doesn't feel as satisfying as just getting the big money drop. You know? And I kind of agree. Like, I don't know. It just feels... It doesn't feel as good because, like, obviously you don't get the big drop on day one, but, like, maybe I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses because I got a big drop on day 2. I got a Virtus mask that I sold for, I think, 30 mil, something like that. So more than what it's going for right now. So, like, yay, got some profit out of that. But, you know, I don't think it's terrible. I think it's unique. But the one thing I don't like about it, once you start a boss, it feels like you have to continue.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
You don't. As far as I'm aware, it's not like it resets, right? It's not like if you kill Whisper 500 times, you don't get a ring, and then you go to Leviathan, it doesn't reset your ring drop rate not. At Whisperer, I'm pretty sure.
I would hope not.
But it just... That part doesn't feel good. That part kind of feels like locked to content, and I personally hate feeling locked to content. So I think that's the turnoff for me. I don't dislike the mechanic. I just don't like... I don't want to ever have the feeling of, like, I can't leave Duke.
Oh, no. I think mentally you could feel that way, but I don't know that that's... I would venture to say that I guarantee it's not like that, because that would be real bad.
I would hope not, because that's mega shitty. But again, I don't think that's the case. Watch them release a blog post, be like, by the way, you're committed to Vardorvis now.
Like, no. It's like anytime you had left Vardorvis and you went to the Duke, it reset your Vardorvis and back. It would be the same crap they pulled with the Zaya favor, where, like, if you started doing Hosidius,
where you used to lose favor, oh my god,
that would be bad. So
such a bad mechanic.
This is not good for bingo planners out there. I'm really sorry, guys. If you're planning a bingo, just don't include the new bosses, because that's real crappy.
Well, there are ways to include the new bosses, so
don't spoil it for them. That's sensitive information.
Speaking of Fall Bingo 2023, it's not impossible that these 4 bosses end up on the board.
Yeah.
I am almost 100% certain we're not putting vestige drops on the board, because that's either going to be really cheesy or feeling really bad, and we're going to have no way to know which one it is, because at the moment we have no idea how this works.
Yeah. Surely they'll have.
That's not to say they won't end up on the board either traditionally or non-traditionally. I also had a bit of an idea earlier today that I got to run past some folks for some potential. But we'll get to that later. No, we'll get to that later during the break when it's just you and I. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not great for bingo,
unfortunately.
But good for the value of the rings, I think.
I would venture to say that these are not going to be cheap anytime soon. And it really does good for the other rings as well. You know, like we saw, what was the Sears ring or the Warrior ring was like near 100K. I don't think any of them are below $1 million at this point. Maybe close to it. So it's doing something good, and you can't look at these rewards and think they're awesome without also feeling a little bit salty that this amazing quest that had so much depth and that had such a, like, that was like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a penultimate, because it's definitely the sequel that has a story to continue, but like the prayer book I still feel like at this point would have been a worthy reward. If they were able to figure it out, I still feel like it was a justifiable reward. And I don't think that could be said lightly. You know what I mean? Like, it's a new prayer book that would offer pretty crazy things as far as you have your standard prayer book, but reflection damage, all the fun stuff they were trying to add. I still think it would have been good. You know? The bosses are cool, but imagine some of the mechanics being like some of the stuff that you would need that prayer book, like mechanics from the prayer book, essentially mechanics from the bosses, essentially being different had you had those prayers. I unfortunately I don't know enough about the actual prayer book because I never did any sort of testing on it in the beta worlds, but I still think it would have been neat.
I can't say I agree. I can't say I agree because the issue with the ring, or not the rings, the issue with the prayers, I think, is that they were just flat out better. It was power creep for the sake of power creep. And I think the issue, particularly with a prayer book, as far as it relates to combat, you can't play this game without protection prayers. You just can't. Like, you can be a skiller. You can ticky at everything, blah, blah, blah. The traditional player cannot play this game and engage with combat without overhead prayers. Even simple things. First, like we always talk about, you can't get your fire cape without overhead prayers. Not your first one anyways. I know people have, but like most people can't, you know? So you either have a new prayer book that has protection prayers, right? That protect you 100%, but have better offensive prayers, immediately making the old prayer book completely void. None of it matters. Dexes fall, arcanes fall, preserved scrolls stay at about the same price. But the old prayer book doesn't matter because the new one has the higher damage and full protection. Or you make it so there's no protection prayers, and then it's just useless, right? They tried to find some sort of balance where, like, you protect 90% or you do this sort of reflection damage or whatever. It just didn't work right now. It didn't fit. I think there are ways to experiment because I didn't hate some of the ideas. And I think there is room within the prayer book for some improvement, considering augury is the highest level prayer you can unlock at 77.
Yeah, that's where my brain was going.
There's room to go up, but it's challenging of how to get it because you either have the prayer scroll problem where the dex is, 100 mil when it first comes out and then slowly becomes worthless, right? Because you only need it once. Or you put it behind a very difficult piece of content that then becomes necessary.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could have, this is how I'm envisioning it could have been done. They could have given us new prayers, not on a new prayer book, just new prayers in general, make them like tier 80, 90, whatever. And then add the scrolls or like parts of the scroll to the bosses that came out. Yes, it's more stuff on the drop table, but like, maybe you had like 4 pieces of a torn page, and then once you get it from all 4 bosses, it activates the prayer. But it's not tradable in the GE. So like you have to do all 4. Kind of like what they do in the Blood Torva. Not necessarily lock them behind the Awakened versions, but just make it like a guarantee once you kill them all. Not after the quest. Not like the quest versions, but you know what I mean? Something like that, to where it's like it feels like you earned it, but it's still a quest reward. It's not just like handed to you. I don't know. I'm just looking at the rewards now. Yes, they're amazing. And I don't say that lightly. Like the Soul Reaper axe, I'm still kind of like, the first one was sold for way over max cash, and there's only been a couple.
You saw Eliop's video, right? You saw Eliop's video,
I did not.
Right? Dude, it was broken. No one used it for the first 3 days because nobody had one. And then when you did have one, they miscalculated and they put the accuracy buff and the strength buff in the same thing. So when you had 5 damage stacks, your max hit was like a 430.
Oh my gosh.
He took it to Bounty Hunter and was hitting people for 160.
Oh my gosh.
He was hitting 200s on Maiden and Bloat at top. It was insane.
Holy smokes.
It was absolutely insane. They hot fixed it while he was streaming. It was that broken that they hot fixed it in like 3 hours.
Whoa.
He set like a world record at Vardorvis of like 30 seconds.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They can't take that away from him. Well, they probably could.
They can. They can, but they can't take away the experience.
No.
You know?
There's video.
I think the prayers are a touchy subject. Not touchy and like and it makes me sensitive, but I don't know how to improve upon the prayer book in a way that makes sense. I know how to improve upon it in the sense of like we can get more prayers that do better damage. We can get melee prayers that do 40% accuracy and 35% strength bonus. We can get a magic prayer that has a 30% accuracy and 5% magic damage boost. We can do that. How do we give it in a way that feels good and is appropriate?
Maybe
is
in the
King's
next
Ransom a hard quest?
No, it's not.
Are the Night Waves training grounds a difficult series of quests?
Kind of.
No.
No,
they're not.
To my sad mid-game account, I was scared of the Knights.
I gotta admit, I was on my Iron because I did it recently on the Iron. I was worried. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get my ass kicked in here, one and done. I over-prepared. I was real worried. One and done. Slapping the shit out of these guys. Just bring a weapon switch and you'll be fine.
True.
That unlocks the best melee prayer in the game. So, like, granted, it's an older system, and RS3 has different prayers and different prayer books, and, like, on the timeline where King's Ransom was first released, Piety is not the best prayer to use, I'm pretty sure, in RS3. But it is here. How do you... I think my issue isn't how do you make new prayers, it's how do you give them in a way that makes sense.
Well, I think...
It's also, I mean, there's also the question of, like, protection prayers, because if it has protection prayers and better offensive prayers... The old prayer book is dead content. If it doesn't have protection prayers, the new prayer book is dead content. Like that's, unless it's a skiller's prayer book.
Can you imagine doing Desert Treasure 2 and then it's just a bunch of skilling prayers? That would feel real bad.
I don't know if it's Desert Treasure, but like maybe it's a different kind of like, maybe it's like a Gothixian thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like a Gothixian holy aura or something, and they're essentially just gathering production support prayers. Maybe they're prayers that kind of run in the background like rapid heal, right? At 99 prayer, it takes me 40 minutes to drain with rapid heal. Maybe there's like a passive prayer effect in the Gothixian prayer book that gives you, I don't know, more XP.
Yeah,
that's the shitty part. Is like, do you give prayers that give a 2 or 3% XP boost in what you're doing? Do you give does it make sense to have a skilling prayer book that gives you more Slayer points? Because say it with me, Michael. How am I going to train Slayer without protection?
How am I going to train Slayer without protection prayers? I said it with you.
Maybe there's. I think they could have like one blanket protection prayer in a new prayer book that isn't as effective, especially if it's a skilling prayer book, add some sort of like, you know,
like
you don't get one banged by things, maybe like a 50% damage reduction. Yeah. But here's an issue with a skilling only prayer book. Who do you think would want to use a skilling only prayer book?
Me. I'm just kidding.
No, what account style would want to use a skilling only prayer book?
Level 3 skillers, obviously.
What skill can level 3 skillers not train?
Combat. So how are you going to get it?
How are you even going to get it? Because you need prayer levels and prayers a combat skill.
Well, no, yeah, you need prayer level.
Oh.
That's true. You can't. Well, they would just like. I feel like skillers.
The entire thing is level 1 prayer.
Well, it would like level 3 skillers wouldn't be a thing anymore. Essentially, it would be level 14 skillers, and you would have 99. Like prayer would become a skill, not a combat skill. Because I think if you're one,
if it ups your combat level, it's a combat skill.
But you know what I mean. I know
what you're saying. I do know what you mean. I just don't know like
that would be a build essentially. Is like 99 prayer, you're level 14, and you can have all the skilling prayers. I think going back to the original proposal, if they got it right, and they kind of balanced it in a way that yes, there's protection prayers, but maybe they're not as good. But there's like a trade-off, because I think that's what this whole conversation boils down to. Is it's all about the trade-off, because yes, standard prayer book protection prayers are essentially the key to it all. But if you had a sort of prayer where you mentioned it earlier, like 90% reduction, but the trade-off to that is a lot better, like you're losing 10% of your health, but you're gaining all these other abilities, they could add that prayer book to whatever sequel or prequel or whatever it is going to be, the ritual of the Majorat. Like that could be the reward space for it.
It's possible. I don't think they've fully abandoned the idea of new prayers. Old School is very good about power creep. Power creep is weird because it's not good if it's done too quickly, but it's good for the game to keep things fresh. Like, power creep is kind of like chocolate. It tastes good. It's fun. If you eat an entire 10-pound bag of it, it's going to be a really, really bad time. You know?
Good analogy.
World of Warcraft does a really good job with power creep, because when they release a new expansion, everything in the old X pack is done for. Like, imagine that Torva's marginally better than Bandos. And I say, like, yes, it adds max hits with the whole set, but imagine if instead of being able to hit a 46, like Bandos and a Scythe and an Infernal Cape is a 46, right? Torva and a Scythe and an Infernal Cape is a 90 on the first swing. Like, that kind of power differential, right? Everything becomes null and void beyond that, because it's just not good enough. That's where Virtus fits in really well between Arms and Ancestral. But when you have a new X-Pack in World of Warcraft, everything is brand new. All 23 skills all have brand new content. When they release a full expansion, it works, right? For all my Melvor idol stands out there, Throne of the Herald made everything in main game Melvor worse. I don't think I wear anything from my setup other than the Fury of the Elemental Zodiacs. That's not from Throne of the Herald, right? Maybe the Ring of Power. Depends on the build, you know? But RuneScape does a really good job of avoiding power creep when it's bad by having horizontal progression. So like World of Warcraft has vertical progression, but it's done very well. Destiny is another game that has vertical progression, right? RuneScape has the horizontal progression where every new weapon fills some sort of niche to a point, right? The Abyssal Whip, right? The Old Guard, the King Who Once Was, good for everything, hits hard, goes everywhere. Dragon Hunter Lance, same attack speed, not better everywhere, but really good against dragons. Arclight, not better everywhere, really good against demons. Abyssal Bludgeon, not better everywhere, really good against crush enemies. And that's how that kind of expansion works by sort of making the umbrella a little bit bigger. At some point, the umbrella is a bit too big and you have to go up.
Yeah.
Between 2013 and 2022, 9 years, it took them 9 years to release better melee armor. It took them 9 years to release better range armor. It took them not nearly as long to release better magic armor.
Yeah, 2018 was Chambers of Xeric.
2016.
Was it 2016? Oh,
pretty sure.
Theater of Blood was 2018.
But 2018 was the Scythe. 2022 was Torva.
Damn.
And then it took them, Monkey Madness 2 was also 2016 for Zenites. Like, nothing's come after Zenites. Nothing's going to come after Torva or Missouri for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be another niche. I think they're still going to use that low life mechanic somewhere. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Yeah.
You know? But they've added Virtus. It's not better than Ancestral, but it fits a better niche. You know? Power creep is good, and eventually we will have prayers that are better than Rigor, Piety, and Augury. It's bound to happen. How it happens is the part that's more difficult. Because with every new weapon, with every new piece of armor, with every new ability, content gets easier.
Yeah.
Like, look at your Iron Man right now. That's pretty much straight out of 2007. You got Ivan's Blast, you got an MSB, you got a Dragon Scimitar. Can you imagine Desert Treasure 2 in 2007? Are you kidding me?
I was thinking about it. And Desert Treasure 1 is probably what Desert Treasure 2 felt like.
They actually mentioned that in the live stream today.
Okay.
Mod Ed said between the gear and the game knowledge or lack thereof, people really had a hard time. And even if you go back and play it, like the vampire boss in Desert Treasure 1, where it does that like really quick attack, that'll mess you up.
Yeah.
You've got the Glacia boss or whatever it is, the one that will like ice barrage you and do a ton of damage.
There's one.
There's a lot. Like
the one in the cave
bosses are hard.
that you have to like cheese basically to this day. Yeah,
they're
hard.
They're hard bosses to kill. Like they're gonna have content down the line that is significantly harder than Desert Treasure 2. Right? The sentiment is that for group content, there's never going to be a piece of group content that is more difficult than Tob on release. And there's never going to be a piece of individual content that's more difficult than the Inferno on release. I don't entirely know if that's going to remain true forever.
I would hope not.
Because of what they're doing for Quest. But like, the Inferno's hard.
Right, but like, I don't want there to be a ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, don't put an artificial ceiling on anything. Anything's possible. This game, I mean, they literally could, like, they could expand the game to, like, you take the world map, they could expand the world map to twice its size overnight, and we would have an entirely new game. But to slap I'm not saying you're doing it, but I'm just saying, I would hope that the developers haven't slapped an artificial, like, lid on there, just be like, well, we said it, so now we can't make anything harder than hard mode Tob or Inferno.
I don't think they're never going to do it. I'm just saying, like, initially that's the sentiment. Inferno and Tob are like the ceilings for what at its base level is going to be the hardest thing. Fear, one of our recording booth chat members and resident gamers, there needs to be some more hard content, to be honest. I don't disagree, because I'm also in that realm of, like, I'm getting into the more difficult stuff. I don't have Blood Torva. I'm too poor to afford the damn orbs, let alone kill the bosses, right? I'm no god tier PVMer, right? But I do enjoy a good challenge. I think when you're at the point where you're speed running Inferno, you're doing solo Tob, and you're maining the awakened versions of the bosses, right? I think you are going to want something more, but I don't know what to give you at that point. Because with every other game, you just beat it.
Right.
Like, you don't beat RuneScape, but, like, you either get to the point where you're playing professionally, like Call of Duty or Halo, or you just 100% the game, like Jedi Survivor or God of War. You're just done. You've beat it. You've completed it. People could argue back and forth what we need and what we don't need. I think as the game does get progressively more difficult, and in a lot of good ways, slowly introduce players to mechanics that make the game more difficult to manage, right? Like, again, a lot of fights, even from like 2016, Gluff, not nearly as hard as Vardorvis.
Yeah, they could have
Or
made Gluff
Whisperer,
so much harder. They really
right?
could have.
But they did with Galvek. And Galvek isn't nearly as hard as Seren, in my opinion. Galvek has a lot of health and will beat the shit out of you if you don't pray correctly. But like, I think Seren has a lot of like more difficult, like you're constantly taking hits at Seren. And now these 4 bosses with the final boss and all that, I think the better the devs do at introducing players and teaching them how to play the game at a higher level, the more room for a higher ceiling that we have, right? We never had a quest boss that made us one-tick alternate prior to DT2, right? Being able to alternate is essential for the Inferno, whether it's 1-tick or 2-tick like I did, because you're going to get stacks that you can't defend against. And if you're just eating damage, you're going to die pretty quick.
Yeah.
Right? But prior to DT2, we don't really have that sort of introduction. You switch prayers, right? But Jad, who has like an 8 or 9 tick attack cycle, is not great practice when you have to do it super quickly.
And you have to remember the order. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Manage other things, manage resources, manage where you're standing so you don't get hit by other projectiles. I think Desert Treasure 2 does that kind of preparation really, really well. I think someone said like the orb at Leviathan that you have to follow, which by the way, I thought was like a tornado, like a Verzik tornado. So I ran away from it during the quest the entire time. I was like, I'm not going to get hit by that thing. I know what that is. That's going to kill me. Turns out it does the opposite and it makes you immune to chip damage. So that was fun. First time I did Leviathan. Someone said that like the Leviathan orb is the Zuck shield. It's the diet Zuck shield, which I don't know is entirely accurate, but being able to stay behind something, move and shoot and switch prayers, that's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of stuff to learn. And that's good because the game does a really good job of teaching you how to do it before making you do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you don't need an Infernal Cape. Like, you don't need Infernal Cape skills or knowledge or experience to do Desert Treasure.
No. Yeah, please. If you're 2 hours deep into this podcast and you haven't done Desert Treasure 2, you don't 100,000,000%. You don't need to be the best PVM in the world to beat this quest. Michael and I are hyping them up because they legitimately challenged us, and I don't think that's something we have felt in a very long time.
True.
I don't know about you, but for PVM, I have felt it a bit more because I've started to get into like Fazanis and things like that. But just like Zulrah, I just have to do more Fazanis and I'll be comfortable with it. By like my 4th KC, I already felt good at Fazanis, right? All of these bosses give me a brand new challenge, something I've not seen before. And it feels good, right?
Trying to remember.
You don't have to be a mega PVMer to do this quest, but this quest will help you learn things mega PVMers know how to do. And that's super cool. You know? Know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was a single boss in any other quest that has come out recently that had the effect that these bosses have, in the sense that like we're sitting here for 2 hours talking about them. You know, like if Song of the Elves have just came out and this is the podcast ever Song of the Elves, I don't think we would be like, oh my gosh, fighting Seren was like, blah, 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 blah. We'd be like, yeah, I killed Seren like second time. It was a good quest. And then we would be like going on to the Gauntlet and in Zolcano and talking about the things after. But I do like the kind of precedent they're setting where since Dragon Slayer 2, it's been a repeatable quest boss. That's kind of like the reward. Now, I do hope that they kind of take a break with this type of system moving forward. Like if we do get a Vampirium quest that, we're not fighting Lawarnial all the time. Maybe there's a new activity that gets unlocked afterwards, but it's not that, we have like 3 new vampire bosses that we can just grind.
Interestingly enough, the whole vampire storyline has been less about unlocking bosses and more about unlocking activities and minigames since Priest in Peril.
Oh.
You unlock all of Mauritania, then you unlock Berg de Rot and the temple trekking. No, not temple trekking. Temple trekking. No, is it Shades of Morton? You unlock the Shades of Morton in that area. Yeah. You unlock the temple trekking minigame.
Barrows,
technically you unlock access to Theater of Blood, but you don't need to do Taste of Hope to do Theater of Blood. You just need to do it for the teleport. So like there's a lot of like Mauritania as a whole has not really done much to unlock bosses. The bosses are just there.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you can get to Mauritania, you can kill Nightmare, Barrows, and Tob in the same day as a level whatever account after beating Priest in Peril. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you really need.
Right. So I guess that would be a bad example of one that I think but they should maybe add a boss to that one.
Maybe speculation, right? Because what we get from Sins of the Father? We got Day Alt Essence.
True.
We got an AFK Slayer task. And we got Hollowed Sepulcher. Maybe Sins of the Father gives us a brand new high-intensity skilling method.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. We're getting ourselves off track, right? We're getting ourselves off topic. I think if Song of the Elves included Zalcano and Gauntlet in the quest, we probably would be hyping it up a little bit more, PVM-wise.
True.
Because the Seren fight is hard, but the Seren fight is the final fight. I think there are notable parts in Song of the Elves when the city is burning and Arianwen's like, by the way, I'm the traitor. That fight isn't hard, but it feels dramatic, right? Because this dude you've been working alongside all the time betrayed you. You've got the tower defense minigame pretty much where you got to defend the barricade.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's stuff like that. Like those pieces of it are fun, but they're not outright challenging. When a 1x1 character size NPC has an AoE damage mechanic, and that's it. That's about it. Like, okay, cool. Like, we're not raving about Cassandre because that wasn't the highlight of the quest. We weren't raving about the assassin from Secrets of the North because that wasn't the highlight of the quest. It was Muspa. Right? These bosses presented a ton of unique challenges, and there was a shitload of them. I think someone said this is the first time they've released this many bosses at once since God Wars Dungeon came out.
True.
Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. As far as to kind of circle this back to, I think how we originally got here was power creep in a new prayer book, right? I think eventually new prayers will come. There will be something new to beat out the old eventually. It's going to take a long time. We're starting to already see it, right? With the trifecta.
Yeah, the new trifecta.
Because Michael and I had this conversation last night that the trifecta, you know, the Trident of the Swamp, the Blowpipe, and the Whip, unless the Fang is just objectively better than the Whip.
Yeah.
Like, everywhere. Even place, like, people kept telling me to take a Fang, and I was stubborn and took a Whip everywhere. When you eventually switch to a Fang, it doesn't miss.
There's not a single place I don't take my Fang.
I know the Fang is 20 times more expensive than the Whip or whatever it is, but like, we've got something that has beat out old reliable in Melee after so many years. Like, eventually everyone's time is coming.
Yeah.
You know, the clock is ticking for all old pieces of content to eventually get updated. We've seen it happen. You know, I think someone posted you ever seen that meme with who's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle rat guy? I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Splinter. Is that the Splinter? Yeah, sure. The recording booth chat's ripping me apart right now, guys.
I didn't even know.
So I
rip
wasn't a
us
Teenage
both.
Mutant Ninja Turtle kid. I'm sorry. It's a 2-part meme, and the first one is Splinter with these little baby turtles, and it was Barrow's gloves with Mystic gloves and like a combat bracelet and something else. And then the bottom picture was Barrow's gloves with Ferocious gloves, Zarite Van braces, and Tormented.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually the stuff that's best when it's old is going to get outclassed. It's going to happen. We're going to get new prayers eventually. I don't know how. And an interesting point was brought up to me last night. Something that we've been dancing around without really saying it. And this is a broader topic that I think is going to span in the minds of developers and has been for a while. With the simplicity of our current combat system.
Oh, no.
How do we make the game exponentially more difficult without reworking the combat system? This is not me supporting another evolution of combat.
It's a point and click at the end of the day.
But I mean, when you break it down, that's literally all it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
pray correctly and hit the boss is how you beat the Inferno.
Right.
But how do you make it harder than that? Right? What elements do we keep having to stack on top of it? Arcane mentioned today they mentioned like a mouse movement thing. You know how in Vardorvis there's a little QuickTime mini game where you have to click on the blood? Yeah. He said, yeah, maybe we do something as simple as like you have to use your mouse to follow a maze to get out of a thing.
Oh. Huh.
Like, in what direction do you have to expand PVM to make it? Yeah, Buckeye says like Among Us. Exactly like Among Us. Like, how do you expand PVM without dramatically altering that which is PVM?
Oh, D4 Drake said, make it more difficult by adding group content that requires roles. So like back to the old D&D, like, hey, you got to be a glass cannon because we need a healer, and somebody's got to be a tank, somebody's got to be a range. Like, do you have mini roles when it comes to certain bosses? Like, somebody has to tank at Bandos, but somebody mentioned it before a while back in the recording booth and kind of just breezed over it, but I would love to see more group bosses. We have so many instanced solo bosses that I would love to see more group bosses.
And I think that mechanic could work. It's going to need a shit ton of refinement because we already have that. We already have the tank, the DPS, and the healer roles. We have all that. Mm-hmm. It's called God Wars Dungeon. It's Bandos. It's literally Bandos. You have a tank, you have someone who does a shit ton of damage, and then you have someone with bones to peaches. Mm-hmm. Or someone who has all the supplies. Thing is, like, okay, Barbarian Assault, not really. Barbarian Assault is a mini game, not really a boss, right? But why you could double Void Waker Bandos as the tank and it's dead immediately. Like, it doesn't. They need to make it so that, you know, the effects have to be role specific, or else what it's going to turn into is like Nightmare. Everyone wears the exact same outfit, but one person wears Guardian boots instead of Primordials as the tank. Mm-hmm. When you do max gear, max level Nightmare, right? They just have to change it so the roles have to almost be like locked into place where like you really don't do anything else well. Mm-hmm. Like if you're the major, you really don't melee anything very well. And that's hard to do because all of our characters have trained, like we're both max combat. You know, I'm max combat now, 126 gang. But like I'm just as proficient with this account at melee as I am with range and mage. So it's really hard to try to isolate those in this game. Yeah. But if they could, that would be cool.
Well,
I think that could be a step in the right direction if they could make this the role-playing game piece of our MMORPG have a little bit more of an effect.
Yeah. Well,
in PVM,
can you
that would be awesome.
Can you imagine like a gauntlet style group boss where you take 5 people in and you have to make your weapons before the start of the fight? It's not a raid, because that to me sounds like that could be a raid, but no, it's like if you go in there with 3 people, you have 3 chances, like 3 individual weapons that only one person can pick up. And so you don't take in your scythe, your T-bow, and your shadow. You
the
take
whole
in
recording booth chat is just saying dungeon.
Well, sure.
Question mark?
Then let's add
Michael and
dungeoneering
I
to the
don't
game.
play
I don't play
RS3. We
RS3.
have to play RS3.
I don't play
one
RS3.
day.
I would love
Someday,
to max my RS3 account.
When there's a lull in content, you and I have to get into RS3. We have to play the quests and we have to play the skills, because the amount of times we bring something up and people who were playing RS3 were like, "Oh, that's just this thing." I think if I had $1 for every time someone said, "Oxie, you're just describing dungeoneering," maybe it's because dungeoneering seems like a fun
That's what I'm
skill.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Like, it's not that RS3 equals bad. It's just that we were jaded as children, and now we have this, perverse view of a fun game. And if there's ideas that are being brought up that are in no way related to RS3, but then it does somehow relate to RS3, and we're like, wow, that's a good idea, then it's a good idea.
I mean, I think it has to fit better in OSRS, and obviously that's like the boomer answer for everything. But like, from what I understand, the EOC we knew back in 2012 and the combat system that exists now in 2023 are not that similar. They might be, but like it's not as jarring because now there's content designed around it. You're not shooting fireballs out of your ass at a boss that is just punching you once every 4 ticks.
Right.
Like they've built the game around the combat system a lot better. They built the gear around it a lot better now over the last decade plus. And EOC feels so completely different that it's like comparing apples to oranges combat system wise, because this game, OSRS, can have some really complex combat, but there's no abilities or anything like that, and I guess RS3, you can have a more classic combat experience if you'd like.
So funny. We got screamed at. That's dungeoneering. Yeah. Well, fine. Put dungeoneering in the game. More. Yeah. Group boss is good. That's what I want, Jack.
Group bosses could be good. They just have to, I don't know, they have to better design them in such a way where it doesn't turn into everyone establishes a meta. And maybe something like dungeoneering is the answer. Not as everyone out there, relax. We already have a new skill coming. Chill. We're not gonna get another new skill for a long time. And God, I hope it isn't shamanism, but that's a topic for another week. But maybe that is something to add in the future, where there is a role-based dungeon or a role-based raid where you kind of have to. I mean, like, again, there are roles in a ton of raids, but like,
those are all player meta. Like, you could go through Theater of Blood and not have a role. Like, you don't go in saying I'm South Freeze and everybody just kind of does what you do. And
everyone could do everything in TOB.
Yeah.
Everyone could do everything in TOB and the raid would run just fine. You do it, you select those roles for efficiency, but it doesn't. The only room you're really only segregated to one combat style as a specific role is Nilo room.
Yeah, true.
But like, if you're the ranger, like, those roles stop after Nilo, because it doesn't matter what you do at or Zarpus or Verzik with those roles, because Verzik randomly selects a tank. There are some subtle differences, right? Are you going to 5-tick at Zarpus, or are you going to 5.3-tick with the standard Verzik walk, right? Like, are you going to Pog tank at Verzik? Did I say Verzik for the 5.3? I meant Zarpus. Okay. I don't know who I said.
Say Verzik.
Are you going to Pog tank, or are you just going to like L run and just get away when the tornadoes come out? There's subtle differences, but nothing so dramatic to the point of like you are only using a T-bow throughout the whole raid. Maybe they could find a way to implement that. Who knows? Maybe that's the next step they take after Desert Treasure 2. Because I think that's probably how combat expands.
You didn't say evolves.
Because I don't think it has to
I
evolve.
know.
It has to do like RuneScape does, and it has to expand horizontally before it has to be forced upwards. We've not really been in a position where RuneScape combat has had to be forced upwards. We as players have been forced to get better, right? A player from 2007 would hear nothing but skill issue the minute they started bitching about all the new content. Because, again, a lot of the stuff we do in 2007 is like either you're a god tier player or you are immediately getting banned in 2007, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. They have to broaden our horizons. Not even broaden their horizons. They have to broaden our horizons on how we play this game. Because we're all currently locked into this box, quote unquote, of how combat is or should be. And I don't know.
Again,
I don't want the combat to. It has to horizontal expansion. We have to add something more to combat. We have to add another enemy type. We have to add another prayer type.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Someone, I guarantee you, someone just thought protect from summoning or whatever that prayer was. There's got to be something, right? Maybe sailing will bring about a new kind of like, naval combat that's dramatically different. Because how do you protect from range on a boat? How do you protect your boat from range?
I would imagine shields. Some sort of like shield system that you can fortify.
Maybe sailing is the role-based group content.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
Hold on. Shut up. Maybe sailing, you get a big, like, HMS Jad. That's your tank. You've got your two boats, Shitter Patrol and like I don't know, Monkey Room, and they're your DPS boats.
That's so
and then
cool.
you've got a little like a dinghy that moves really quickly, but drops off healing supplies to every single boat, and kind of like you patch up the walls and shit, like Captain Murphy's personal jack-off dinghy, and you ride around and you fix the boats and you heal things as you go. Maybe that's how you do it. But maybe that's the group content.
Count me in, Captain.
And maybe everyone gets, the same amount of reward based on contribution to that particular piece of content. Who knows? Maybe that's how sailing does it. Get hyped for sailing, folks. It's game time. They released a new dev blog for it that we're probably not going to touch on today. But
I do have a topic that we could really dive into that's not sailing. I do want to. This could be a really good tangent, by the way. So, and we didn't talk about this. I'm springing this on Oxie. Grand Master Quest Cape. What do you think? We're gonna need it because I was bitching the other day, and I'm like, I can't do this quest on my Iron Man in the mid game, and now I feel like the Quest Cape is closer to the end game than it ever has been with Desert Treasure 2. And I just feel like at some point they're going to need it. They're going to need to raise the ceiling, because the Quest Cape, it's at this point it's an achievement. But Solo Mission like speedrunned it. He speedrunned? What's the he did it. He did a speedrun of it. Like it's, if he had done a Quest Cape now, I think with Desert Treasure 2, it would have added a lot of complexity. Like how you can't get through that in several hours more, but like I don't know, Grandmaster Quest Cape, like when they keep raising the ceiling on because the difficulty of quests, we've been talking about it this whole time. Difficulty, meta, power creep, all of that. It's going to have to go further, not backwards. So I just can't see a world where we don't have another tier of Quest Cape at some point.
Here's a question for you. How do you feel about the Quest Cape not being a mid-game achievement anymore? Because we have to expand it, because the ceiling has to get higher. What says that we have to keep the Quest Cape in the mid-game?
I don't know.
Because by the time you get to the point where your account is about to finish the quest cape, right now, prior to DT2, you get the quest cape, you're getting into the late game as it is. You're getting into Vorkath, you're getting into Gauntlet, you're getting into Zulrah, you're getting into all sorts of high-level PVM. You've got probably base 60s, base 70s-ish stats, or you have, base 70s with like 55 rune crafting or whatever you need for Fremennik Exiles or whatever that quest is. You're inching into the late game more and more with every quest that has released. So the argument of the quest cape is too hard can be made for all 4 Grandmaster quests. The Master Quest Cape in RS3 requires players to complete all quests, all post-quest rewards, all mini-quests, and find most of the lore-related books. Now, I would imagine the mini-quests are more or less the same of what we have. Post-quest rewards could be anything. I'm thinking like Knight's Wave Training Grounds kind of thing. And it seems like that's exactly what it is. There's just a bunch of like random bullshit that follows up the post-quest rewards. I don't know if you have to like do all of the content, right? Okay, there are a number of quests and mini quests with post-quest rewards. These rewards are not directly given on completion of the mini quest or quest, but must instead be unlocked by doing something else afterwards. Doing this often requires skill requirements that the quest itself did not require, and they're often not mentioned on the update page and are found by players.
Oh, neat.
So as an example, are there any of these quests? Okay, here's one. Chef's Assistant is a sequel to Cook's Assistant. It was released in 2019. It's a free-to-play quest that is a sequel to Cook's Assistant. The post-quest reward: cook one of each type of cheesecake and talk to the head chef to receive 8,000 cooking experience and 25 biscuits.
Huh.
So it's just little shit like that, right?
Like Easter egg
Knight's Wave
stuff.
Training Grounds is probably the best quote post-quest things we have. Then there's also one down here for like the World Wakes, where like I don't know what any of this shit means, so I'm not even gonna bother reading it. I don't think a Grandmaster quest is the right solution. I think acknowledging that the quest cape is no longer a mid-game item is, because I think sticking it in the mid game gives it a really hard ceiling, because now nothing can be harder than DT2, which means nothing is ever going to be as exciting as DT2 from a gameplay perspective. Lore wise, we're going to cream our jeans over the sequel, even if it's just Cook's Assistant 2, but a Majorat shows up at the end. Like, we're going to be excited no matter what.
Sure.
But from a gameplay perspective, it's not going to, like, if we peak here with quests are never going to be as exciting again, right?
I know.
Or major quests, that is, right? Garden of Death was not the most exciting quest I've ever played in my entire life, but it wasn't bad.
Was it a necessary evil?
And for this,
yeah,
yes.
My thought behind a Grandmaster quest cape would be like, the base requirement is all of the Grandmaster quests, obviously.
4.
So here's what I'm thinking. Do you move all of the Grandmaster quests we have now into a Grandmaster quest requirement? Like for instance, if you just take all the Master quests and you go down to the very novice of quests, that would be your quest cape. And then in order to achieve a Grandmaster quest cape, you have to have your quest cape plus all of the future quests that they add, which are Grandmaster. This would give 2 things. The ability to add a lot more difficult mechanics into quests while still giving people a sense of achievement for having a quest cape. Because if we're looking at the quest cape itself, the reward, like the use of the cape is like, oh, you get access to the Legends Guild. It's like a close fairy ring. So if you were to then like rework those rewards, like what would you add? Well, that's why you would add the Grandmaster Quest cape. So maybe it has like stat boosts, and maybe it has teleports to certain quest locations. Maybe it has like, you can add a, now I'm going to say this and it could ruffle some feathers. You could add the, like in RS3 where they have that boss hub. You could add a boss hub with a Grandmaster quest reward. When you have your Grandmaster quest cape, you access to the boss hub, and you can activate certain portals to certain bosses. But it's only achieved after you do all these really, really difficult quests. And like, I don't know, it adds another level.
How about instead of adding a new cape, we just make the current cape less shitty?
Good. But I think progression is what people want. Progression to say, I have my fire cape now, and I'm working on my infernal cape. The idea of saying, well, just make the cape better, then you were just saying, well, let's just like forget about the fire cape, and we only have the infernal cape in the game. That's the best melee cape that you can strive for. It feels kind of crappy.
I don't think it's the same thing. Because the next step up from the quest cape is the diary cape. And the diary cape takes a lot longer skilling-wise to achieve than the quest cape does. PVM-wise, the quest cape is now significantly harder.
Yeah.
But even so, the achievement diary cape is no pushover. Calphite Queen, a Hydra, a Chambers of Xeric, like a whole-ass raid, which is daunting the first time you do it. All sorts of various bosses, all 4 God Wars bosses, all 3 DKs. Like, you got to do a lot. Like, the diary cape is a step up. And I don't think the argument of, well, I don't have a quest cape, so I haven't achieved anything because the only quest I've not done is Desert Treasure 2, doesn't really do you as a player a service. You've unlocked fucking Prif. You have access to one of the most lucrative bosses in the game. And when I say one of, I mean like 5 of, between Vorkath and Zulrah and Muspa.
Right.
And all these other pieces of content, that give you just shitloads of money. TOA is quest locked, right? To say that you've made no progress because you can't get a quest cape because the last quest is too hard isn't fair to you. I think it might be better to shift the aspiration at some point, maybe not right now, but shift the aspiration to be a little bit smaller, kind of like how we say breaking up goals. Completing Desert Treasure 2 is an achievement for a mid-game account, because this shit's wild. It would have been a feel. Can you imagine? Just picture it. Close your eyes and picture it. Oxie in July of 2020, struggling his ass off through Desert Treasure 2, right? For the old timers who listen to the show, and you were there when I was doing Jad and doing Song of the Elves, and you saw me do all this like stuff that I can do now with relative ease and really struggle with back then. Like that it felt good to get it done. Just as feeling Desert Treasure 2 felt good to finish on Wednesday, it's going to feel good when you do it on a mid-game account, right? I think when you cap it off with, now it's my quest cape, it feels even better. But I think we have a lot of pieces of content in the game that inch towards really, really difficult. And I think that's okay for the quest cape. There might come a barrier at some point, but they pitched that idea a couple months back or a couple years back, I don't remember, where like, do we make the quest point cape a percent-based accomplishment?
That's what I was thinking. That's kind of where my head is at with like needing a quest cape or a skill cape to do a diary step. Like the elite diaries, some of them require a quest cape or a skill cape. And, whenever you look at the quest cape, so I got my quest cape in 2018, my original one.
Mm-hmm.
And the hardest quest at that point, I think, was Monkey Madness or Song of the Elves.
DS, depending on when you did it, would have been DS2.
So DS2, Dragon Slayer 2. So 2018, Dragon Slayer 2, I mean, that's doable right now on my account with all the requirements I have. 1,600 total. I mean, Dragon Slayer, sorry, Desert Treasure 2 is completable right now, but like as an Iron Man, I'm either as a mid game account, I'm either locked out of gear because I can't buy it and I don't have the money to buy it, or I'm locked out of the content to be able to get it as a drop currently.
But that's an Iron Man problem. Hold on. If you had this as a main account, you have the stats for the trifecta.
True. I mean, yeah. Well, not the.
If you had the money and you sold stuff in your bank, you could get the trifecta. You may even be able to scrounge up a Fang. Or borrow a Fang from a buddy.
I don't have 82 attack, but I see where your head's at. You can definitely buy
as a main account.
Yeah, as a main account, it's a lot different.
It's a lot. We're kind of fucked right now on our Iron Men because, like, I am not doing Whisper with Ivan's Blast. No. I hate to break it to you, brother. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing these quests without Bruise, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
and like
we
the
do
death
get
costs,
TMD on the Herb Lord train.
Like, I'm gonna need money. I'm gonna need Bruise. Stamina potions would be great. That's already kind of like we have those. You just have to get them. Gear is severely lacking. Like, my timeline for Questcape right now is pushed back to like end of the year or mid game, like mid next year.
Thank God it's no longer Oxie's fault. There's no Questcape.
And this is where my head's at right now. So on my Iron Man, on the group Iron Man, so not even a regular, like not even a solo Iron Man. Like I'm like TOA until we get Fangs. I want to go to Corrupted Gauntlet till I get full crystal and a Bofa, or at least a blowpipe, and then having at least 87 Slayer so that we can get the Trident. And then who knows how long we have to sit at Barrows for the charges and the runes to be able to stock it. Then there's the problem of having enough brews for everyone. So like, it's going to take a lot of time unless I simply just brute force this quest. I guess it can be done. Like I'm not trying to complain.
Practice them on your main.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess there's time to practice it and like figure it out with a dragon scimitar and rune, diamond bolts in a freaking Ivan's Blast. I could do it.
You probably could Ruby Bolt Leviathan into diamond bolts. I think Leviathan were the best suited for, but
it's not gonna be fun.
Again,
it's not gonna be a good time.
It's not gonna be fun at all. I think here's a solution to the Questcape problem, or here's a suggestion for the Questcape problem, right? Oh, the irony that I'm about to suggest this, because you know how I feel about it, how it's been implemented in other parts of the game. Points-based achievement system.
Points-based achievements.
We literally already have quest points.
Sure.
We already have quest points, and we already have the combat achievements that give you tiered rewards based on how many points that you have. How about at a certain threshold, you can do maybe like the Questcape emote that you need for the diary step at like 280 out of 290 quest points or 298 quest points. Maybe, it's not until you complete all of them that you unlock 6 new teleports, and like the magic or the Questcape has a fun little feature, and you can trim it so cosmetically it looks cool too, right? So maybe you do add something like that, but the issue with adding a points-based system for the Questcape is what happens in 5 years
when there's hundreds of quests and there's hundreds of more points.
Well,
yeah,
the Questcape total right now is 298. What happens in so many years when like the quest point total is like 600?
Yeah.
But I think you have the same problem you do with the Zuck Helm, where the only real piece of it that gets more difficult to obtain is the Grandmaster tier at the very end, because more combat achievements get added, and I don't know if it actually adjusts. Hey, 93 thieving, look at that. 2 more levels away, and then we can stop thieving. I'm doing it for Chambers as well as 2200 total level. Oh. So maybe that is a potential solution for the Questcape problem. Frankly, I don't think it's a problem that Questcape is getting harder to get, because I think it makes the player base better, and I think these big goals help make other goals more achievable, And I really don't think it's as hard to get as we're perceiving it to be, because like a couple of my friends, God love them, they did the quest day 1, took them 9 hours to get KC number 2 at a different boss. You still don't have KC other places
Mhm.
because it's just too hard post quest. But they have the quest cape back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's attainable. I think it's doable. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
I like the quest cape.
I just feel like we're
achieving
moving
all, but I mean,
I just feel like we're moving the goalpost, and that seems like they had this discussion whenever they're talking about when they polled. They're like, should we make the quest cape achievable at a certain percentage, like 99.9% or something? And then that seemed really weird because it's like you haven't done all the quests then. So there's no real good answer to it. It would take like any sort of solution is probably going to make people feel a certain way either way. Like if they did add a Grandmaster quest cape, there'd be people who are like, I mean, I don't see an issue with it, but I don't know. You know,
I think they should just buff the quest cape. Like, give it some stats, give it some fun cosmetics, and give it like 6 teleports.
Mm-hmm.
Give it like a Myth's Cape teleport, or like a Myth's Guild teleport, a Grand Tree teleport. Give it a Prif teleport. Give it an Ancient something teleport for Desert Treasure 2. Give it a teleport to Tob and to TOA. And then give it a teleport to, I don't know, somewhere else, maybe. And then after a big quest comes out, so when like Ritual of the Majora comes out, a new teleport's added to the quest cape. Make the quest cape absolutely cracked.
Yeah.
So that it kind of like, because you're right. What does teleporting to the Legends Guild do for me?
Yeah.
I have a fairy ring in my house.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
My quest cape has been on display for, I think, 2 years, and it's not been in my bank since.
Absolutely.
So,
Same.
like, make the quest cape super viable to use, and I think, honestly, that might be the best solution.
I feel like that would be harder
that
to
way you
pass.
don't have to worry about, like a point.
Yeah.
Really?
I just think, like, I feel like that would be more of a pill to swallow than to just say the current quest cape as it stands is a master quest requirement, and people can say it's the mid quest game, like the mid game quest cape. It has no other perks other than what is originally there. And then you have a Grandmaster quest cape to where absolute gamers can feel like they're still accomplishing things, versus we're going to strip everything you knew about the quest cape that's been in the game since the beginning and has been such an iconic. Wasn't the quest cape around in 2013 when they?
What are you stripping away?
It's like, I don't know. It'd be like if you just said the game has evolved too much and now the fire cape has different stats, or it.
I mean, again, it's not the same thing as the fire cape because we already added something that's better than the fire cape.
Right.
And it's a shitload hard. Speaking from experience,
that's what I'm saying.
It's a shitload harder to get.
If they didn't invent the Infernal Cape and they just said, well, now the game has evolved to where Jad is too easy, we're just going to change Jad and give you, like if they're moving the goalposts, they're saying.
They did. By adding something new.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying with
right?
the Grandmaster Quest Cape. Adding that is a better pill to swallow. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to liken it.
What you're saying, but I don't.
I'm trying to liken it to. This is the example. So your suggestion was change the quest cape to make it buffed. I'm saying that's as if they said the fire cape is not the best anymore. So we're just going to change how the fire cape works and not keep the fire cape like they did. Like what they did with it was amazing. They kept the fire cape as a mid game option, and then the infernal cape is end game. That's perfect situation. I'm trying to say that situation could work for the quest cape.
And I'm trying to say that Desert Treasure 2 was not nearly as difficult as the Infernal.
But Desert Treasure 2 is just the beginning. We're looking at a new era of quests. They've added, I think, flick mechanic, like prayer flick mechanics into a quest. We've been talking this for almost 3 hours about how amazing this quest is, and like this is only the beginning.
And we've also talked about the fact that you can just brute force your way through it. You can brew your way through the bosses and you'll be good to go. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't know. I think we're on two different spectrums of the D value, right? I'm on the, what's the point of getting a regular quest cape if the Grandmaster is just better? You're on the, if we make the quest cape too good, max cape not as good, diary cape not as good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's different pieces of it. I don't know if we're going to come to a solution to it.
Well, we're not tasked with it. It's just a theory. You know? Tiki said he's looking at it from an account progression milestone. It'd be like making Barrow's gloves behind harder quests. Yeah. It's about progression and understanding that this game, like if somebody started today, they're working towards like a quest cape in 2 years.
So let me ask you this question, right? I'll let you finish, then I'll ask. Yeah.
Okay, so like they're working towards a quest cape potentially in 2 years of playing the game versus like you could probably get your quest cape within your first 6-7 months if you really started playing and put your head down and did it. Within the first year, you definitely could get a quest cape. But say we're 2 or 3, maybe 5 years in the future, nothing has been changed with the quest cape. We have 600 quest points, and we have like 6 more Grandmaster quests. Now, if somebody starts today, you're looking at like a 3-year grind for a teleport to the Legends Guild. Yes, it's cool, and you're obviously going to do it. Like it's just a completion at that point. Like you're going to get the quest cape eventually because at some point you're going to want to do all the quests. But like if you don't have to get, for instance, if you don't have to do Rag and Bone Man 1 and 2, I'm never doing those quests. But I have to do them because I want the quest cape. That's where I'm coming from. It's like, if the quest cape stayed as it is, and in 2 years, it's the same reward, it's not a big of an achievement, I'm just leaving quests unfinished, and I'm going straight for the Grandmasters that give the coolest rewards.
So I hear your son being very angry.
Oh, you could hear him?
So I feel like our time in this first segment is rapidly coming to a close. Barrow's gloves are unlocked with questing, right? Barrow's gloves are useful everywhere. They're actually used to upgrade the best in slot melee gloves right now. Zenites come from questing, right? Those are pretty useful. Assembler, all sorts of stuff, raid uniques. What does the quest cape itself do for you?
Nothing really.
Nothing.
At this point.
So when since the construction expansion, when you can put a fairy ring in your house, has the quest cape been useful for you?
It has not been useful since
even since the addition of the achievement diaries, when you could technically teleport to the Ardorian Monastery with the completion of the Easy Arty diary, has the quest cape been useful? It has no purpose. It is a symbol of all that you have done. Now, other items are like that as well. The Infernal Cape is a status symbol. It also happens to give you a max hit, right? That's pretty cool. The quest cape is a status symbol, but it's also fucking useless. Tiki says it's a discount construction cape. The discount construction cape, the earliest discount construction cape, is the Arty Easy diary. So that's why I'm saying make the cape itself better. Make it objectively better so that when you get it, it feels worth it. The diary cape itself feels good, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can teleport everywhere. If I break out my diary cape and I hit right-click teleport, there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different teleport locations.
It's pretty cracked.
All the different places.
Pretty cracked.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. The quest cape has one that doesn't serve a purpose for me anymore. So I think buffing the quest cape with a teleport or some sort of like passive effect. I think this also is a conversation of all of these skill capes need buffs, which I thought might be a fun episode for you and I to take some shots and figure out how we fix the 23 skill capes. But
absolutely.
So with all of that said, if in case you can hear him in the background, Michael's son has determined that it's time for us to stop this first segment of recording.
He's under producer.
And frankly, Yes, he is our new producer. He does a hell of a lot better job than we do at giving us time management skills. Because Michael and I probably could have gone back and forth about this for another 45 minutes had we not heard him crying in the background. And I think that's okay. So I think that puts a decent enough cap on our initial thoughts on Desert Treasure 2, which are, and correct me if I'm wrong, overwhelmingly positive.
5 stars.
I would argue 5 stars.
9 out of 10. I think. No, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 9.7.
Well, okay. If you could give 1 point out of 10 off, what is it for? Because I'm trying to think of critiques. Because
that sounds like another whole episode. But it's 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10 on a good day. The only 9 out of 10. The only reason I take a point off is because I had to rush it to talk about it today. And I couldn't enjoy it.
9 out of 10. Stop releasing major content updates on work days.
Yes.
That's just a personal preference.
Put it on
I understand it's your work day too, but like,
oh yeah, it's true.
Really, really sucks when I have to. The waking up isn't the bad part. It's the leaving for work. That's the worst. Because the getting up at 5 a.m., I'll do that shit all the time. Fucking look at me, Jackax. I'll get up at 5 a.m. for fucking anything. Do it. It's when I have to leave 90 minutes in to go to work that I'm like, oh. So stop doing that. I really can't think of anything else. It's a dick move to have a NPC teleblock you. It's a dick move to have an NPC
that's just
teleblock you when you're not expecting a fight.
That's
move.
Nothing about the quest itself. The quest was 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5.
No, it really isn't. It's just I'm nitpicking to nitpick, but it was a fantastic quest. Just like this commercial is going to be fantastic. It's not going to be a new one because I'm going to be on a time crunch as it is to get this episode out with the schedule I have coming up this week. But it's been real. It's been fun. We will see you in the second half of the episode, folks. Enjoy.
Bye.
Good evening, adventurer. You come here seeking knowledge and power, no? Then perhaps you're brave enough to enter my evil lair. For those of you...
David, honey, who you talking to down there?
What? No, Mom, I'm trying to shoot a movie.
Oh, okay, honey, have fun.
Now where were we? For those of you who dare enter this hell, you may find the power you seek. But of course, such power comes at a price. You must...
David, honey, what do you want for dinner? I got leftover lasagna or dinosaur chicken nuggets.
Dinosaur chicken nuggets, please. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Okay, evil. I am evil. Okay, we can do this. To obtain that which you desire, you must take the life of another. But you adventurers are all the same, and your bloodlust is rarely sated after just one. However, there is not reward without risk. You must...
David, honey!
Oh, I swear to Zamarok. What, Mom?
Would you like ranch or honey mustard with your nuggets?
Do we have any hot sauce?
Yeah, I got hot sauce. You want hot sauce?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mom.
Of course, dear.
Okay, let's just get this over with. However, there is no reward without risk. For you must endanger the life of your closest companion in order to fulfill your desires for knowledge and power. If this is a chance you're willing to take, then I invite all of you to venture to my corner of hell, if you dare.
David, honey, if you're gonna have friends over, I'm gonna need to make more chicken nuggets.
Mom!
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial because I know that I sure did. Michael and I actually took a break. Normally when we take a break in between the sections, like it's like 2 minutes for you guys. It's like 10 minutes for us. Like we get up, we go to the bathroom, we get some water, we grab a snack, we come back, we shoot the shit. 10 minutes later, we're ready to go again. We stopped recording like an hour and a half ago. And then we came back and actually started recording again. So we're gonna get her going and see how this goes. Cause now I got a belly full of Italian sausages and at least one of these things of water that I drink. And maybe a little bit more.
And
Who
I'm
knows?
full of a milkshake.
Yo. But A's and Yo's aside, it is time for the K's, the B's, and the D's. And all the other letters that make up all the Patreon supporters. I'm so good at this Patreon thing. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's time to shout out the patrons, folks. We do it every week. Special shout out to Kermie, the brand new Wise Old Man patron, whose name is on the card that is currently over my face. The reason I say it's currently over my face, it's actually a note for editing Oxie to remember to not only put the card over the face, but also update the card so that it says Kermie in the little thing. So now that the card is off on my face, we're going to be talking about the KBD patrons, the ones that we shout out every week for their absolutely awesome support over on Patreon. So kicking things off with the KBD tier, we have Broic70, Buckeyes, My Dad, Hi Dad, Cloud Kicker, Damon S, Dicky Bird, Elite Oreo Dunker, EXP Enjoyer, Gay Raccoon, who sends me different raccoon TikToks every day on Instagram, Legend Gary, Lil Drakey, the Lord Jake himself, Mark aka iSteam, Mike Ox Perfectly Average, MT Birchfield, Rylithian, SatanBot666, Soggy Waffles, Seppi J, Seth Shep, Skooma92, Sauced, Spartan Fire, Taco Ninja, the Big G Jordy, the Crayola Crayon, Toast No Toast, and Tuz Talk Coots. That's a lot of you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That about sums it up. Thank you. Because that's a lot of KBD patrons. That's way more than the 3 heads that the dragon has, you know? You guys are spectacular for your support, and we thank each and every one of you. Because it really does mean the world to us. It's going to help out with the meetup that we have coming up on Saturday. It's going to help pay for stuff for you guys to do. Like when we go to the Best in Games in Ypsilanti, which is coming up, but I'll touch on that here in a second. If you want to help support us on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/Xpwaste, and you can support for as low as $1, because as we always say, that's literally as low as they would let us go. They would not let us go any lower than $1 single. Do that if you want. Again, or don't. The podcast is free on Spotify and Apple Music, and if you don't have any of those, it's even more free on YouTube. Go listen to it. And if you want to support, be my guest, and I'll love you forever. Speaking of a meetup, something Oxy can promote a lot, less stiff. We have a meetup that happens in like 10 minutes if you're listening to this episode when it comes out live. Michael's already in Michigan. Well, depending on when the episode gets out. So here's the deal. It's going to be a long episode. And we're recording on Monday night. And Wednesday I have plans. So I essentially, from the time I get home from work and the time I leave for practice, and the time I get home from practice until the time I leave for work, have to edit this episode. So we'll see when it comes out on Thursday. You EU boys might be waiting for the US East time. But if you're not, there's a chance Michael's already in Michigan. depending on when you catch this podcast day of release. Because Xpwaste North is happening Saturday, August 5th in Ypsilanti, Michigan. We're going to Best in Games, and it's going to be awesome. Michael and I are staying right down the street. Yeah, it's going to be lit. I imagine if you're going, your hotels, if you need them, are already booked. But it's going to be super fun. And like we said, Patreon helps support that because we don't want you guys to go and then have to pay for a bunch of stuff. So like for Xpwaste South, we like rented, I think, bowling lanes for a while. I think we paid for laser tag, and then I think we bought all of the food.
So we bought the wristbands, I think, which gave everybody like bowling games and then laser tag. We rented the bowling lanes, and then we got everybody food. And I'm pretty sure drinks too.
No, not drinks. I think drinks were your own thing. I'm not 100% sure because it was months ago, and I can't remember what I had for dinner. I do remember I had 3 salsicas from Meyer. That's not important, okay? Meetup's coming up. It's going to be awesome. I think that covers the promotion stuff, thankfully. So I'm going to go back to maliciously clicking on this already night to try to get 95 thieving. And Michael is going to bring to you the community question. Michael, my friend, go ahead. Hit us with it.
That's me. All right. Last week, we asked you guys, what do you think of the new Desert Treasure 2 quest? And if you haven't done it yet, what are you excited about? Chances are a lot of you have already done it. But whenever this question was asked, there may be people who haven't done it, so they answered accordingly. Starting out with Iron Otis, aka just Otis, says, congratulations to everyone who has completed DT2. I won't be able to do it for a while, but I wanted to take this moment to ask my buddy Recycle Please a question. You got that quest cape yet? Ooh, calling him out.
Wow.
Damn.
The way you're putting this man on blast right now.
Damn.
The captain of your bingo team, and you're putting him on trial in front of everybody here.
Damn. Anyway, Swole says, I'm keen to learn Duke.
Hold on.
What?
The unfortunate part, I hate to play devil's advocate. I didn't see Recycle Please post about a quest cape for Achievement of the Week this week. So, I don't know.
Call out post.
Anyways, what was Swole saying?
Swole says, I'm keen to learn Duke and Leviathan, and having to go learn Muspa for the upgraded staves. I'm dreaming of having a gross little pet Duke behind me. He is absolutely disgusting, and I'm here for it. Henry says, puzzles are aids, but post-quest bosses are fun and challenging. Thank you. Thankfully not brain dead like Fork. Real quick, why did you giggle?
Just the way you paused for AIDS. The puzzles are AIDS.
I was not going to say AIDS, because I don't really like that term, but I couldn't think of another word to put in front of it in the split second that I read it.
W.
Vorkath is pretty brain dead once you understand it's literally just like, don't get hit by ball, cast spell on thing, make sure your prayers are up, and, the occasional walking around. Nate Dogg says, I thought it was a great quest. My favorite quest for sure. Puzzles were a little too long. It makes me excited for the future of PVM and mechanics because those bosses are sick. Yeah. Msuni says, great boss and area design both mechanically and visually, but the story was lackluster and nothing to write home about. I appreciate it singing towards a continuation, but remains flat as is. 7 out of 10. Did we play this? Did we do the same quest? Did we read the same dialogue?
My man did Desert Treasure 1 and was like, I don't get what y'all are freaking out about. Shit's boring as hell.
He did the wrong quest.
I mean, technically, it ends with Azanadra talking to the player. That could be DT1 or 2.
True.
So,
DJ says, awesome quest, awesome bosses. The Duke pet is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, and I want it so bad. Well, luckily, the Duke is pretty free to kill, so get in there, soldier. Sweepy Joe says, Jagex fumbled with the new content. Hot take.
Ooh, a hot take. Is there no follow-up?
That's it. They just said Jagex fumbled with the new content. That's it. Man's going to hit us with a hot take. Man.
Jagex fumbled with the new
content.
And then...
And that's it.
Just nothing?
Just nothing. Just that's it.
Huh.
Well. Thank you.
That's an opinion.
Moving on. HP Healer says, I'm more excited about unlocking bosses to camp and getting new items, though I have some hesitation because my PVM skills are still mid-game, but it's all for fun. You could have just stopped and said my PVM skills are mid. That's the same thing, right? I get that meme now because like mid-game is kind of trash, so then everything's mid is trash. The mid-game blues? Who knows?
Whatever you say, Boomer.
Crayola, a.k.a. Tallymorn, says, the quest took me nearly 10 hours to complete, but it was probably one of the best quests I've ever done. The plot twists and challenging bosses / puzzles were fantastic. I can't wait for DT3. Can you imagine if they call it Desert Treasure 3? Because like how much more treasure can there be in the desert?
Desert Treasure 3.
Desert Treasure.
What do we do with all this goddamn treasure? Desert Treasure 3. There's no actual treasure.
Desert Treasure 3. All the gold. It's a sailing quest. Mr. Two Tick says, having lots of fun with the new quest. Nearly shite myself when the Stranglers sprinted at me. Sprinted.
Same.
Damn. K Black says, how dare Oxie miss my 99 HP shout out? You think you know a guy. K Black, my man, this is the community question.
It's a fair criticism.
Is it?
You know? It's a fair criticism because in the 2 week blocks of Achievement of the Week, lots of things happen. I'll give you guys a little peek behind the curtain for Achievement of the Week. If you guys just type out got 99 HP, smiley face, I'm far less likely to see it.
Yeah.
Not to say that's what you did, K Black, because I didn't see the post. I don't know. Shout out to K Black for 99 HP whenever that was, I guess. But post a picture. In addition to what you're showing off, and I'll be able to see it much quicker and easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right, real crazy says, I'm not a big PVMer, but I am a sucker for good storytelling in quests. So far, all the GM quests have been top tier lore wise. So I'm hoping this will be just as good. It was. Haven't done sorry. Moist Sean says, I haven't done Desert Treasure 1 yet. Upside down smiley face. But I'm mostly looking forward to using the new powerful ruinous prayers to help me get over the hump at some of the bosses I'm struggling with. Sean is so
Who's gonna tell him?
Sean.
Like, I know this is 100% sarcasm, but who's gonna tell him?
Oh no. Okay. And finally, and I say finally because it's literally it. I didn't actually post the community question on YouTube like a mumpty.
What?
I was traveling. Listen, I could only think about work and what I had to do to get to the airport. So this is a 2-person show, and Oxie, if you don't see it on YouTube, just post it.
I hate to be that guy. I don't check our YouTube once the episode's posted. Once I get the go ahead that it's been uploaded, I just X that out.
How about we do this?
Am I a Spotify listener for the show? But I also am not like fiendishly checking the YouTube.
Let's work this out real quick. So if you post the episode, then you post a community question on YouTube. And if I post the episode, then I post a community question on YouTube.
So here's how that's going to work. You're going to post the episode. you're going to post a community question.
Yeah.
I'm going to post the episode. I am, and this is not an exaggeration, almost guaranteed to forget to post it on YouTube. Because I don't know how to preemptively leave comments.
You don't. You wake up at 6 a.m. like I do every Thursday morning, and you post it while after it's live. You can't it sucks because you can't actually preemptively post a comment.
Oh, let's see that right there, YouTube. We need better, because if I could post that beforehand, genuinely got no problem doing it. Wake your ass up when you already don't want to be awake for work and try to coherently type out a question that you have probably already forgotten from the night before.
Yep.
Like
every week, that's me.
That's a big ask, boys. That's a big ask.
I'll keep doing it.
We'll do it.
I'll keep doing it.
It's a big ask.
And finally, Alex on Spotify says, I didn't enjoy it as I thought OSRs isn't OSRs anymore. Doesn't feel like 2007 at all anymore. But I still have fun on the game, and I'm learning more towards necromancy. And I'm leaning more towards necromancy than sailing. Oh, sorry. Are you an RS3 player? You listen to our show for the 1.6% that we talk about RS3. Hell yeah. No, I'm kidding. Leaning more towards necromancy than sailing. It's not one or the other, my guy. You can have both. All right. Thank you to everyone who answered last week's question. We love you all. Hugs and kisses. If you want to answer this week's question, it will be, what storyline should they complete next? As in quest progression, which one should they do next? Leave your answers in the community questions section on Spotify or the pinned comment that we will be pinning.
That may or may not be there.
On this YouTube video.
If it's not there, comment and say, hey, you bastards.
You guys
where's my pinned comment?
Listen, you can still post in the comments on YouTube. It doesn't have to be on the pinned comment. We just put it there for convenience. Hey, what if we just put it in the description?
No, because every time we have people answer outside of the pinned comment, you go, oh my God, they answered it's not the pinned comment. I don't know where to find it.
I guess that makes sense. Anyway, Oxie, it is your turn to do the things that people want to hear in their ear holes.
That's a way of describing it, yes, but it is, in fact, my turn. It's time for Achievement of the Week, which I thought at first was going to be a lot bigger because the new quest came out, and then the blowpipe nerf.
What? How did they nerf the
blowpipe? So I apologize. I got thrown off by the recording booth chat there for a second. But we're back. I thought it was going to be crazier, and then I realized a bulk of people's achievements were just doing the Desert Treasure 2 quest. Because it's awesome. And congratulations up front to everyone who did complete Desert Treasure 2. It wasn't an easy quest, especially if you were raw dogging it day of without a guide. Fun as hell, though. We are going to get into the achievements. That's it. I believe, funny enough, we only have one unique quest cape, at least only one that I saw. Dead got his quest cape. Woo! Which I think that's the only one. It's weird because people were getting their quest capes a ton before DT2 came out. So people posted about how they reobtained their quest cape, right? So, if you reattained it, awesome. But Dead, congratulations on getting your first. More miscellaneous first. Chaos Cleric, who just almost derailed the Achievement of the Week with his comments, and Rust of Fury both got their music capes this week. And Sauced got his diary cape this past week as well. So y'all have had some busy weeks. Even more people with even more busy weeks. Moving on to the skilling category. Sheffy achieved 99 hit points. Dillygaff, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, achieved 99 Mage and 99 Prayer. Funny enough, he got 99 Mage shortly after he got 99 Slayer, which was shortly after we stopped recording, I'm pretty sure. Sparry achieved 99 Farming. Got Clues achieved 99 Defense and 99 Fletching. Zero Fox achieved 99 Mining and 99 Smithing. In TOA, at the Aka puzzle, with a dunce random event tome that he snuck into the raid to pop 2 99s right before Aka.
Nice.
For Vitney, achieved 99 firemaking and 99 construction, putting him up to a disgusting 6 99s in a month.
Whoa.
Man did mining for a month and was like, right, we're never doing that shit again, and just did every single other skill. Almost. Soy Victor achieved 99 Prayer. Broic 70 achieved 99 Cooking, seconds before a 6-hour log out. Poorly Hung, a.k.a. Ice, achieved 99 Strength. Submediant Wallow achieved 99 hit points.
You're proud of that one?
Yeah, that's a Dusty for you, Dusty, right there. So we ain't
done that in a
we
long
ain't heard
time.
that one in a while. Gorley achieved 99 Rune Crafting. Ryukusen achieved 99 Mage. Crayola achieved 99 Range. Wagoner achieved 99 Agility with only a few skills left to max. Z-Money achieved 99 Crafting. And 99 Cum achieved 99 Attack without even realizing it. Just by doing stuff. His screenshot isn't even fireworks. It's just him at the crafting guild going, that's cool. Rounding out the skilling category, like we said, for Vitney, who's been banging out 99s, finally achieved 2200 total level. So interested to see what's left for the 99 train. Finally, getting it.
I just want to interject. There was somebody in the CC, I think Saturday night, who like popped off a ton of 99s. And I don't think that they posted it, but they got like 99 attack, strength, defense, range, prayer, I think. Anyway, if that's you and you listen to the show, congratulations. I just don't remember the name, unfortunately, because I was trying to do the quest at the same time.
Hold on. I'm getting word from my co-host that on Saturday night in the CC, someone got a shitload of 99s, but didn't post them. I don't know who you are, but congratulations for you for doing that. Because I don't see the post. But apparently it was a bunch of 99s. So if that was you on Saturday night in TNL, congratulations. You're probably really combat and strong. If it was attack and
if that
defense
was a dream, that would be a crazy dream, right?
That's a wild dream.
I don't know if that's a dream. I feel like I'm
It was
dreaming that.
It was only just a dream.
Did I dream it?
I was thinking about her, thinking about me, thinking about us, and who we.
You know who it wasn't? Recycle Please with their Questscape. That's what it wasn't.
Don't do that to my boy. Don't do that to him. He got a chamber speed run this week. Don't do that to him.
Poor guy.
Anyways, going back to combat, rounding that out. 2 fire capes this week. We have Jay Leezy and once again another name that I wish I made up but didn't, Pickled Nut. That's another one that I like. You know? I like that one. That's up there with like Dildo the Great.
He likes it.
Like
He really likes
names that make me go, huh, but also make me laugh a little bit. Some more firsts. Doc achieved his first Gauntlet KC. The Lard Lord also achieved his first Gauntlet KC. Sean, Elagio, and Humble Owl all achieved their first Corrupted Gauntlet KC this week. Everybody was like, well, I don't know what to do before DT2. Might as well go do Gauntlet. Because that wraps up the firsts. But we still have some more stuff from combat achievements. Recently, and when I say recently, I mean like 20 minutes ago, Chad McSquill completed both the easy and the medium tiers of the combat achievements. Other people have completed combat achievement tiers this week. But like easy, medium at the same time. And I don't remember who you guys are. because I've seen it pop up in the CC. I apologize. But if you completed a combat achievement tier this week, congratulations. We have some kits, some interesting kits. Corkster achieved his Missouri kit. Suffix achieved his Menophyte Ornament kit. I'm pretty sure it was him and Rosgan who went to get the Baba transmogs. Pretty sure. Not 100% though. And finally, wrapping up achievement of the week. It really couldn't have been anyone else to do it first in TNL. Let's be honest. Nobody does it better. Nobody could have done it first. 2 fast kills. Jesse, our Grandmaster. Was it this morning or I think it was this morning or this afternoon. Monday afternoon achieved Blood Torva. He's the first in the clan to have full Blood Torva. And frankly, at this point, I'm not surprised. Proud as hell, but I'm not surprised because that man can game.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got the armor to show it. So congratulations to you, Jesse, on the first set of Blood Torva in the clan. Not the first in the game, though I was kind of hoping when I saw that top 10 thing today, the first 10 people to get it, I would see your username. I was kind of hoping.
Yeah,
because I think he got 2 of them done the first day. But I think he got tripped up doing Duke at like 1 a.m. his time or something like that. He just like hit a wall where he's just like too tired from what I heard. But he got it. So congratulations to you. And congratulations to everyone who achieved something awesome this week. It's a big week for questing, and if you push yourself to do hard PVM with Desert Treasure 2, that is all the achievement that you need. There's obviously more, but like, feel good about that. And if you did something awesome that I didn't shout out, keep doing awesome stuff, because we like to see it, whether or not it gets shouted out. If you want to post about your achievements, whatever they are, whether it's base 60s or the second set of Blood Torva in the clan, head over to head over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL. That's the name of the Discord. And I'm not going to say it again because I'm going to trip over myself, but the link for that will be in the description down below. Go check that out. It's, as we always say, the best RuneScape Discord in the world. We have like 8 JMods who are always like, oh my god, you know what the best RuneScape Discord in the world is? The OSRS TNL. Those guys over at Xpwaste who can't even say the name of their damn Discord right. It's so good and awesome over there. You should go check that out. Boy, those co-hosts sure are handsome too. Thanks, JMods. That wraps up Achievement of the Week, which means, Michael.
Yes.
It is time. Do you, good sir, have a postcard for me?
It is time, Simba. Yeah, we do. This one comes straight to you from Benny Bscape, who is chilling in the recording booth. Hell yeah. So they sent one from Garden of the Gods in Shawnee National Forest. Make sure to get a good view of that. That looks sick. All right, I'm back. So,
you ever seen Creepy Dave on TikTok?
Here
comes Creepy Dave. No,
no,
you wouldn't get it then. There's a video where he says lions is king of jungle, but doesn't look like good jungle.
That
it's just like the African plains.
Is it the guy
That's
that
kind of
does
what that
the
reminds
silly,
me of?
Is it the guy that does the silly
It
like?
doesn't look like very good garden. It's just rocks.
Doesn't look like garden. Bad horrors. Talking about the honey badger. The bad horror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen him. Okay. So, what's his name? Ugly Dave?
Creepy Dave is the
Creepy
character.
Dave. Yeah. Nice.
Here comes Creepy Dave.
You know what pisses me off about that? The zoo. There's a zoo. It's a really famous zoo on TikTok. They were using his sounds for like one of their flamingo bits. They tagged him, but it was like the way bottom of the description. So like you had to hit see more, and then like his tag was way at the bottom. Like they just used it from promotional and like did it better. They made his content like I thought.
Boomer. That's the point of TikTok sounds.
I thought, okay, obviously I'm in the minority here, but like I thought that the San Diego Zoo, or I think it was the San Diego, whatever zoo it was, I'm name dropping here. I thought that they were being clever and having like fun marketing ideas and being cool, but no, it just turns out it's some other guy. And
hold on.
he did it better.
I know which one you're. Hold on. Creepy Dave Platypus.
It's
think
the platypus.
I know the video
yeah,
you're
it's like
talking about.
a duck got stuck with a beaver, but they work together. The duck lays eggs for the beaver. Yeah.
Okay, I bet you I can find it right here. From the San Diego Zoo, yeah.
Yeah. They did tag him, but it was like at the way bottom. It's like tag him
Way
in the
bottom. Michael, there's 3 lines of this TikTok.
You hit show more, didn't you?
I did hit show more.
But you had to hit show more to see it. I was just
Listen.
offended on his behalf, okay?
I'm sorry.
Like
But the video that he originally posted
it's just
has
not original.
700,000 likes.
It's not original content. Go ahead. 700,000 likes. How much does San Diego Zoo have? Like 2 million?
Whatever you say, boomer. It's 2.5 million because something tells me the audience of a voice actor on TikTok versus the San Diego Zoo gonna be a little bit different. But
anyway, we got a postcard, and I'm not going to take away from this man's achievement of sending me a postcard, but it's going to go on the wall. Benny Beescape says, "Howdy, Xpwaste. I wanted a cool postcard, a cool local postcard, of an area near where I grew up. It's only just a photo card. Oops." So yeah, he had to send it in this, which apparently this is a recycled envelope that he turned inside out and then painted on the inside so he could paint out the addresses, and then I'm going to cover his address, and then he put our address on the outside. So like inverted a card thing, an envelope.
that's very cool for so many reasons because there's party hats in there, which is pretty neat. And then also he's like, I couldn't find a postcard, so here's a picture, and that's got to be good enough. And frankly, I think that's better than good enough. That's cool as hell.
I'm gonna cut out the drawing or the painting, and I'll put it on there as well. So
Yeah,
photo
100%.
the photo card here, and it comes with a fun question. Fun question. Do you guys have plans to make more RuneScape and or other gaming related tattoos? I don't have any tattoos centered around gaming, but I would like to, just not decided. As always, keep XP wasting. Maybe see the outdoors once in a while. Benny Beescape.
First of all, big ask of a RuneScape player to go outside. I just want to put that out there right now. You watch yourself, Benny Beescape, I swear to God. Second of all, this is an interesting, fun question because this isn't a hypothetical.
Right?
Michael and I were having this conversation probably 10 hours ago at work. So I'm sure we can get into more stuff we would like,
Yeah.
but do you think we should talk about the ones that we actually drafted for ourselves? I say yeah, because I
Go
think
for
it's come on.
Yeah, go for it.
It's cool.
Yeah. Why not?
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. So
Go ahead, go first.
there's a lot of things that I think would look really cool as a tattoo from RuneScape, but it depends on the artist to make that reality come true. Because like you could have you could just take a screenshot of your character wearing really cool armor. Like for instance, if you had a Grandmaster helm, Blood Torva, kitted scythe, the little Avernic kit, like that whole outfit, basically like the Grandmaster outfit, Max Infernal Cape, all of that. You could have that tattooed on your body. Nerdy as hell, but like you have it. I could get a Max Cape tattooed somewhere on my body. I could get 2277. But like it just takes the right artist. So like I would get literally anything. Like I would get Max Cash. I'd never gotten Max Cash, but like I would get like 2147. I think it's 2147. M. 2147.
That right there, that's like a knuckle tattoo. You get like Max CASH 2147 right there. That's
yeah, that's what you get. Or 2277 tattooed on your knuckles. I like that.
You gotta get 2277 and then 2376. Is that what it is? Is it
Yeah.
2376 is gonna be next?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be 236?
It's 2376. No, I would get People in
Yeah, it
recording
would be
booth are saying
237. I
don't
just
get
can't
2277, but like I would get 2277 because I maxed when it was 2277. So it's like immortalizing it. 2376 is going to be the new max number, but I feel like 2277 is
You
iconic.
just get toe knuckles if they release more skins. No, dude, that's what you have multiple brackets of knuckles. So like 2277, 2376, whatever the next number is, get it on your fingernails. Coward. You got 6 whole things right here before you even have to think about touching the tootsies with tattoos.
I would get something like buying GF on my butt. I think that would be cool.
I'm sure your wife would love that.
Yeah. I've seen people get a law rune, an air rune, and an earth rune to be like home. It's kind of cute. Or Varrock, or no, it's Lumbridge, which is kind of cool too. Like Lumbridge is where home is, where you started, but it's also the home teleport runes. We've talked about getting tattoos if RuneFest ever come up, and I don't want to spoil yours because that'll be part of yours, but like I feel like I would get. Frank, what rune would I get? The chaos rune?
What Michael's referencing is that I want to get a nature rune right here. If you're looking on YouTube, you can see it.
Right above his
a
boobie.
nature rune right there, right above the nipple there, because that's where the heart is.
Nature rune on
Put
your
the rune
your
over
nipple.
the heart.
Your nipple is the rune.
That sounds like hell. Anyways,
Get it around the nipple. Yes, Chaos Cleric in the recording booth said, "Get it around the nipple." Coward. Yeah, because you could do like
Coward
how
it
it
is.
has like the circle with the lines. You could just do the circle with the lines going down, and then your nipples inside the circle. This is fun. Okay, I would get.
Fun's a word.
I would probably. I don't know, because like I was googling RuneScape tattoos, and so many people have Godsword tattoos. Like just the Godsword going up their leg.
Godswords are sick.
I don't feel as much of a nostalgic draw to the Godswords. Like I didn't PK as a kid. I never had a Ceradome and Godsword because I was poor. Even in old school, like I've barely kept a Godsword in my bank because I mean the Bandos Godsword, but I don't know. I don't really feel the nostalgic draw to it. But the one that I'm thinking about getting when we go to Michigan is something along the lines of this. So it's the skull, the Slayer skull with a sword, but then some like American traditional flowers around it. It's just subtly enough not RuneScape, but RuneScapers would know what it is.
Yeah, I think you've got to see if they can get the American traditional skull, like stylize it for Slayer.
Yeah,
Like that's I'll have to email the tattoo parlor and update them with what you want, because I like set our booking spot and was like, I don't know what my friend wants, but
what if they could do the fang in the skull?
the fang might be
What if they got the fang in the skull?
I'm not gonna lie, the fang might be a good look. Yeah, fang might be a real good look.
And then
Actually-
obviously there's this that we're gonna get tattooed at some point.
Yeah, that was the original plan for Xpwaste North, but that just unfortunately that didn't work out with the artists that we originally got it from. Like we just haven't like heard enough back to be able to like set up an appointment.
Yeah.
And we considered like, oh, well, just get it anyway, and we don't want to get it from somebody else because that
No.
seems kind of lame.
Yeah.
So
It's like cheating
know.
on your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend. It's like they did all the work to design it. We're just gonna have another artist do it.
yeah,
Nah.
like if we're gonna get that one, we're like 100%. We basically just want it to come from the guy that drew it, because like I ain't never gonna find anyone else who can do tattoos like that.
Yeah.
And plays RuneScape so passionately, you know? So
Yeah. But that's like right off the dome. If you gave me some time to prepare for this question, I probably could have had a lot more ideas of some like concrete things that I definitely would get. But those are all the things I've considered be like, oh, yeah, for sure. And I already have one. I have the Dragon Scimitar right here. You guys have seen that. So I already have a RuneScape tattoo.
So you guys have also seen seen my tattoo a lot, my DDS tattoo that I have right here. Other video game tattoos that I would get.
Oh, they did say other
boy.
gaming, didn't they?
Yeah, other
I
gaming
completely
tattoos. I
skipped
mean,
off of that.
other video games. I don't. Boy, there's so much. Like I feel like Dragon Language from Skyrim might be cool. I already have a Halo tattoo on my back shoulder. For those of you that don't know, I have a Halo tattoo. At the end of Halo 3, when they look at that big monument and the number 117 is carved into it, I have the 117 tattooed on my back shoulder. What else? Other video games that I like that I would probably get tattooed. I mean, oh, you know what might be a cool tattoo? In another life, if I, instead of being a RuneScape content creator, became an Ark content creator,
Yeah.
I would get the implant tattooed on my left arm. The survivor implant
Like the
from
thing that
Ark,
you
I'd get that
access through a
tattooed.
computer.
I'd get that tattooed on my left arm. That would be pretty cool. That would be a pretty sick tattoo. Like, I don't know if I could justify that at this point, but I think I've got a visible DDS because of the RuneScape content that I make. If it was Ark, 100% I would get a thing right here because that's cool as hell. Damon in the recording booth chat said ODST Hell Jumpers is definitely one. That tattoo of the skull in the drop pod with the ODST, that is pretty sick. I've seen people get like big ones where they go over their whole back. It's nutty. Energy Sword, Otis said, would be pretty cool to match. I think, like, could you look at that? Like DDS on one side, Energy Sword on the other side. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be
sick.
That would be pretty sick. For the moment, though, because Michael and I talked about it, we are planning on getting tattoos today, actually, when this episode comes out. Currently, the plan for me is to get an American traditional snake with a dagger through its head. But the snake is Zulrah, and the dagger is a Tanzanite fang.
Hell yeah.
And somewhere in there, I want them to write the word North, but I'm not sure how that's going to work with the look. So it's going to be... I haven't seen any concepts for it yet, but it seems super cool. And Michael is right. It really does depend on the artist. Like, Michael's a big fan of the American traditional style. So that's kind of what we look for. I'm kind of indifferent. I've got a bit of a wild style. I've got a dragon dagger, another video game reference, and then a big bird on my left shoulder, or my left arm rather. So I don't have one style that I'm sticking with. I would probably go to my artist that I got my Shrike tattoo from for Everything Forever, if I could, because they're cracked. They're so talented. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a really good job.
I put KJ's Instagram in the description of this episode. Go give KJ a follow and see the art that they make. It's fucking crazy. It's so cool, but it does depend on the artist. And this is one of those things where, like, I've never seen KJ do American traditional. So that's not a call I would make. But the shop that we're going to only does American traditional. So
I'm pretty excited.
Michael, the guy they told us has an availability was one of my favorites.
Oh, nice.
From the website that we looked at. So I'm stoked.
Yeah. Me too.
It's going to be good.
And obviously, you guys will see them at some point. We'll show them off. The next episode might actually be a vlog episode of like our time in Michigan together. So you may actually see video of us getting the tattoos next week. Potentially.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of that. There might be a little bit of tattoo action happening on next week's episode vlog thing. That could be fun. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You never know. Other RuneScape things I would get tattooed, though.
I do want to say something that I forgot, because obviously I forgot about the fact that he said other games. So you know how they have like tattoos that look like stickers? Like it's a sticker that they're peeling off your skin? I would get the the most nostalgic game that I know of for me is Donkey Kong 64. So I would get the DK64 logo as a sticker tattoo. I think that would be mint. That would be so cool.
Kind of sick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That's kind of sick.
Because it's a cool game. And I love that game. As far as like games that I played a lot as a kid, Kirby was a big one that I played as a kid. Played a bunch of Star Fox. I actually did play a bunch of Halo as a kid too. Halo was my main game for a while. And then obviously RuneScape took over. I never really got into, like, Pokemon has a lot of options. If you liked Pokemon as a kid, never really got into it. It's actually from part of the religious trauma that I have, that my parents thought the devil created Pokemon and took all of our cards and gave them away.
That's because he did.
Did you know that they also thought
Michael's like, that is not funny.
Did you also know that back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, people thought that the Monster Energy drink was satanic because the M looks like a 666.
The Hebrew 6.
Yeah.
We used to laugh at that video so often when we were in high school, because we would quote bottoms up and the devil laughs. We would laugh at that shit all the time when we were younger, just because we thought it was utterly ridiculous as teenagers. What would you get from Minecraft as a tattoo?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh my gosh, there is so many great options for Minecraft because it's literally all just pixelated stuff. I feel like just a classic grass block somewhere would be really cool. Or I don't know. I feel like the weapons are a little overdone when it comes to Minecraft. So maybe like the classic looking tree would also be kind of cool. Like a Minecraft tree. Ooh, a Minecraft tree on a little pedestal of Minecraft dirt. The grass and stuff. That's like a side view of the tree. 2D.
I'm going to shave the back of my head. I'm going to get a villager face. And I'm going to put right underneath it. And I'm going to grow my hair out super long. So every time I get my hair cut, a barber gets to see through the underside of my hair.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what I would. Boy, I don't know. There probably would be I think a nether portal might be a cool Minecraft tattoo. Like, I think a nether portal tattoo, but the nether portal isn't activated.
Mm-hmm.
And then after some major milestone in life, having children, getting married, whatever, you tattoo in the rest of the activated nether portal. That would be neat.
That would be
a
kind
neat
of cool.
Little story.
Yeah. Would it be a 2D or 3D? Like from the side, or would you do it 2D?
You want to get it on an angle so you know it's Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Everybody in the recording
people
booth
are just
posting them
people
up.
the recording booth is spamming pictures of their own tattoos, and it's so cool.
I don't have any tattoos, so this will be my first one. You know,
See, Mike's gonna cry getting his first tattoo, guys. It's gonna be great. Yeah, other game tattoos I would probably get. I played a lot of games throughout my life. I don't know. Because part of me was like, oh, you know what game I loved as a kid that I played a ton of with my friends? Call of Duty Nazi Zombies. And then thought for a second about what that tattoo imagery might be and was like, no, probably not. Probably not going to do that.
No.
Oh, you get the ray gun. That's what it is. You get the ray gun. The ray gun is a nice... According to the chat, once again, light me up. I get the ray gun from Zombies because I put like hundreds of hours into that with all my friends, and it doesn't put me on a watch list somewhere. That's fantastic. All right, so maybe I'll get a DDS and a ray gun from Zombies. Whoo, we got real close there, boys.
We did. We did.
Whoo, God.
I think we should. I want to ask the Xpwasters, not to answer the fun question per se, but if you have RuneScape related tattoos, post them up in the Xpwaste Discord. And the channel on TNL. We want to know. I want to see
Or
all
if
your
you guys,
let's see all your tattoos.
or if you guys know people who do OSRS tattoos, post their links in our Xpwaste chat.
Yeah.
Because I follow, I think it's DTA Tattoo on Instagram. He's the guy who makes the RuneScape frogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I follow him.
I was just about to say I could
His
get one of the
stuff
RuneScape
is super
frogs,
cool.
but like again, that goes back to
He lives in England.
Damn it.
And that sucks.
Damn it. Actually, we're flying to England.
I mean,
I don't even have my
what
passport.
are the chances? What are the chances that he's at RuneFest though?
High.
What are the chances?
The chances
So,
are high, so we have to get
who-
booked early.
We got to figure out. Okay, that's it right there. That is the major announcement coming from the Summer Summit.
RuneFest
will. It's going to be like the Avengers. Like
Yep.
RuneFest will return.
2024.
Like that. That's going to be it. 100%. RuneFest will return. But, dude, if RuneFest is going to be a thing, if we get that going in 2024, we're definitely getting tattoos over there. We're getting RuneScape tattoos. I don't care where. I don't care if it has to be like we end up at some party and someone's doing stick and poke. I don't give a shit. We're getting RuneScape tattoos somewhere, right?
Yeah. I just have to figure out what rune I want.
Bro, you gotta get a teardrop. It's gotta be like a blood rune and then a water rune on either side.
Yeah. I like the chaos rune, but that's just because it looks cool. Death rune would be kind of silly.
I mean,
It's like,
get it
you got
'cause
a
it looks
skull.
cool.
I don't know. Like, none of the runes speak to
boy,
me.
il mio fratello in Cristo, you just said you're gonna get a skull tattoo with an Asmompton's fang through it.
I mean, like a tiny little, a circle like a tiny little one. You know what I mean? Like a
Oh my
rune, a
God.
singular rune. I don't know. It's a hard choice. There's a lot to choose from. I think
Singular.
the fire rune is
right
probably
there.
the most iconic. Any of the 4 elemental runes, but I feel like the fire rune looks the coolest. Water rune's just
of the
like
of the 4 elemental.
Earth.
Yeah.
just the 2 squiggly lines. Air rune probably is the most iconic when it comes to it's the first rune you make. Rune Mysteries has the air talisman. Screw it. I'm getting a goblin dressed as the sandwich lady. That's gonna be my tattoo. You guys could have any fan art of a goblin dressed as the sandwich lady?
Absolutely bet.
Offering burnt bread. It'll be the cook. It'll be the cook that blows himself up. Was that the troll? That was a troll. Never mind. No, there is a goblin cook. Right? Am I thinking of that right? There's 2 cooks that blow themselves
Guys,
up, right?
he's thinking of it and he's not sure which direction he's going. You're thinking of Burnt Meat the troll who makes the burnt meat and gives it to the player, and you're also thinking of the goblin chef for Recipe from Disaster who blows himself up,
Gotcha.
whose name I don't quite remember. You were on the right track. You completely derailed yourself, and then you got back on the right track.
Hell yeah.
So you're good. Let him cook. We're trying. We're trying to let him cook.
Yeah, so it'll be the goblin cook dressed as a sandwich lady with a burnt piece of bread. That's what I want to see. Are we trying to just stall a little bit so we get to the 4 hours, or what are you thinking?
What? That couldn't ever be us.
Watch
I feel
it
like
be
we can't
3
force-
hours 59 minutes.
I have a sneaking suspicion this episode is so close to the 4-hour mark, but not quite. And I regret to inform you guys, we might be shy of the 4-hour peak.
Yeah.
One more time.
Yep.
No.
Not Mud Knuckles. Thanks, Benny Beescape, in the recording booth
Mud
chat.
Knuckles is. You guys can put a sandwich lady outfit. They
359
troll us and quit at 359.59. I mean, maybe. You know, maybe. But yeah.
Thank you, Benny Beescape, for the wonderful postcard, the awesome painting that is inside the envelope, and the fun question. I'm thinking now I should have brought this to Michigan, and then we could have answered it on the vlog while we were getting our tattoos. Forethought. It'll be the death of us. Yes, sir. Well,
Oh my God! Wait. Hold on. Shut up.
okay.
if you guys have made it this far into the episode, you have an assignment. This is definitely not me stretching out the podcast for content's sake, but you now have an assignment. Michael and I are going to have little clip-on shirt microphone things, whatever they're called. I almost said anaphylactic. I know that's not correct.
Lavalier mics?
Sure, that was what I was going to say next. I was thinking of parabolic, and then something else that ends with ick, whatever. Anyways, they're going on our shirts, and we're going to be vlogging some experiences we have while gallivanting around the state of Michigan. We need some fun questions to keep us occupied.
Yeah.
So
Email
send
us
some fun questions. I'm not going to check the email, but you can send us some fun questions in the Xpwaste chat or in the fun questions chat or DM them directly to Michael.
I have the email pulled up on my home. Well, that's my wife. I have the email app right there on my home screen. What are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
Clearly not checking the Xpwaste email. But send us some fun questions because I think it might be fun to be like, just picture it, right?
The whole episode is fun questions.
Probably that's what all our IRL episodes are anyways. We go out to get food. The waitress or waiter comes to the table. And we look them square in the face, absolutely deadpan, and say, given the nature of combat in old school RuneScape, if you had base 60s, how many of your coworkers do you think you could take at once with a full tribrid setup? What do you open? Do you open up with the claws, dump specs? Do you barrage the cooks in the back? Right? What do you do about your manager? Do you save the claw spec for the manager?
Why is that such a great question?
Right? Theoretically, how many Canadian geese do you think one Chinchompa would take out? Think about it for a second.
Off the dome?
Yeah.
You're holding out on me?
You know.
Oh, did you check your mail, by the way? I sent you something.
Oh, son of a bitch. I did forget to check my mail. Well, it's okay. I'll check it when you come up. No,
That's
we
not
won't
how
be
it
here
works.
next time. Damn it. All right. Well, it'll be all right. We'll live. We'll survive. Michael, what do you think?
Let's send them out. I still don't think it's going to be
think
4 hours.
I think we spin the chamber and hope that maybe it's 4 hours. All right, guys, maybe it will be 4 hours.
I don't think it will.
If I leave all of Michael's
community
question fumbles
no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, maybe. Oh, wait. If the commercial is long enough, if you throw one of them the GPAs in there that's like 6 minutes long, we might hit it.
I think the longest commercial we have is Evil Dave, so I'll be sure to put the Evil Dave commercial. Literally, just pushing the former. Anyways, folks, it's been real. It's been fun. Hope you enjoyed Desert Treasure 2 and this possibly monumentally length episode. We will see you guys next week for a very, very interesting and eclectic episode where we'll be at Xpwaste North. I'll tell you right now, Spotify folks, you Apple Music folks, this is going to be a video one.
Yeah.
You're going to like the video a lot more than you do the audio for this one. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah.
But, well, for the one coming up next week.
Right.
This one, well, if you're at this point, you've probably already listened. Anyways, we love you guys, and we will see you next week. Bye everyone.
Bye.